Okay, it's 6:30. Let's start. Okay, everyone. Hi, I'm Commissioner Nigro. I'm chair of ANC 2G. Welcome to our September meeting. Summer's over. Welcome fall. It doesn't feel that way though, but okay, so let's do the roll call. Ms. Watkins, I know you're not feeling well. Do you want me to just do it real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, here I go. Okay. 2G 01,
Present.
2G 02,
Present.
2G 03,
Present.
2G 04,
Present.
2G 05,
Present.
2G 06, me here, and we are all here and accounted for, and we have a quorum. So I'm going to flash up the agenda. Hold on one second. Ba-doop. Ba-doop. All right, so I want to first apologize to everyone about 1613. It was a simple mistake, and I apologize profusely. So it has been corrected. So this is the agenda here. What I have added on, and I emailed the commissioners earlier, is about a letter to Councilmember Pinto to support ANC 2G to hopefully write a letter to the BZA. Okay, so there's that, and then additional relief for the legal case. Okay, anything, commissioners, that needs to be changed or nothing? No? Okay, can I have
I
a,
move to approve the agenda as presented.
okay,
Second.
great. Alex, is that you? Alex seconds, all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Watkins. Motion passes. Okay, so let's see, do we have any members of the police? And I have, oh my gosh, there's Lieutenant Harry, yay. Oh wait, I didn't give you, let me move him over, Stephen.
Rochelle, if you make me a
I know, I
code.
will. Awesome. Lieutenant, I'm just moving you over. Lieutenant Herring. Oh. Lieutenant, why did you decline that? We have to have you over to talk. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. All right, Lieutenant. You go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, folks. Can you folks hear and see me?
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Okay,
Lieutenant Herring of the 3rd District.
okay.
Just kind of briefly. Go back over here. Where are my, here we go. All right, for the ANC last month, gonna have violent crime is gonna have 2 homicides, 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, and then 3 robberies for the ANC, and then property crimes. Gonna have 1 burglary, 1 theft from auto, 19 general thefts, 11 motor vehicle, 11 stolen vehicles. And that's it for specific crimes. Anybody want to know any details about particular crimes or anything else going on in the ANC?
So if you could please update us and the community on the 2 murders, the one on O Street and the one on N Street.
O Street, both of those are going to be still open. Those were actually about a month and a half ago, I think, at this point. I think those are going to be still open. See if I can get the lookout for you folks.
So I do have a specific question about the one that was on the 300 block of N Street.
Mhm.
And I know this is hedging and you guys don't want to say, but did you ever determine whether it was targeted or not? Or do you know that?
Let me try to. That was the gentleman who I believe worked at a shop of sorts, shall we say, as I
Cool.
recall. I believe that's still in the works. I don't have any information to
Okay,
share.
that's
in
fine.
reference to that.
Okay, Commissioner McCarty?
Thank you, Lieutenant Herring. I just want to ask a quick question. Could you give us the overall stats if they're up or down over the month and over the year?
For the year. Let's see here.
For month and year, please. Thank you.
For the month.
And Saturday for Sunday.
Appear to be up for all crimes. Excuse me, up for total crime is going to be up for this particular period. There were 58 in the previous period. In the current period, it's going to be 62. And then property crimes going to be up once again. 52 for the previous period, 55 for the current period, and for the year.
No, they don't. Because we work for the next day.
This is only allowing me to do year to date. Previous period, year to date, we're down. Previous period was 578. This year to date, 392. That's for my apologies. That's going to be total crime. Violent crime, on the other hand, it's going to be down from 78 to 49 this period. And then violent crime is also going to be down from 21 to 15 for this period.
Thank you.
Year to date. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have a question for Lieutenant Herring?
Hi.
Hello, greetings.
Okay, greetings. Could you talk about the 11 stolen cars? Like what was that about? Was that carjackings? Was that?
No, those are separate from carjackings. Would those may pop up if you're looking at the crime stats. Those may sometimes fall into the robbery, but stolen cars are going to be separate. They're going to be typically either somebody came out and the car was gone, or they're going to oftentimes a delivery driver. And we try to push this out to the community, those who deliver Amazon packages, things of that nature, food delivery. We do try to push that out, that not trying to leave your car, or be mindful that you shouldn't be leaving your car running and unattended. But oftentimes those are types of crimes. That's where the stolen autos are.
Are you catching the people, or are you recovering the vehicles? Like what's going on?
It's a case by case matter. Some cars are never recovered. Generally speaking, they are recovered somewhere in the area. When I say in the area, somewhere in the metropolitan area, they are recovered. Oftentimes, cars end up in the city, on the other side of the city, and sometimes cars are recovered shortly from where they were stolen. It's just kind of a mixed bag in reference to that.
And is that up or down from last year?
Let me see here. That's also going to be down year to date, 88 year to date for last year, and 61 for the year this year.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yes. You're muted, Commissioner Nigro. We can't hear you.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Anyone from the other side have any questions for Lieutenant Herring from 3D? Raise your hand or press *9. There's no one on the phone, so raise your virtual hand. Nope. Okay, Lieutenant,
Thank you now.
be in
Appreciate it.
touch.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, so we next have the mayor's office and Councilmember Pinto's office, and I see Brian on the line. Let's move Brian over from Councilmember Pinto's office.
Hey, good evening. Can you see
Hi.
me? Oh, sorry. Ooh, not too bright. Hey, I'm gonna share my screen. Good to see you all. Hope you had a good summer and are having a good start to the school year. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, I've got a lot to go through tonight, so I'm going to jump in. The council's next legislative session begins this Monday, September 16th. The fall legislative session is expected to be extremely busy, with council members working to pass legislation before this council period ends in December. When a council period ends, legislation that has not passed yet will need to be reintroduced in the next council period. If legislation has had a hearing but not a vote, it does not need to have another hearing in the new council period. We will have at least one new council member in January with the retirement of Councilmember Vince Gray in Ward 7. Council members and ANCs elected this November, including most of you, will be sworn in on Thursday, January 2nd. So January 2nd. As the fall legislative session begins, the Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety, which Councilmember Pinto chairs, will be focused on two critical priorities. The first regards the extremely serious federal bribery allegations leveled at Ward 8 Councilmember Trayon White. Chairman Mendelson plans to remove Councilmember White from his chairmanship of the Committee on Recreation, Libraries, and Youth Affairs, while an ad hoc committee of all council members besides Councilmember White is going to investigate his conduct. The chairman announced today that that committee and the agencies that are overseen by the Committee on Recreation, Libraries, and Youth Affairs will fall under the Committee of the Whole, and there'll be two new subcommittees. So the Subcommittee on Recreation and Community Affairs is going to be chaired by Ward 3 Councilmember Matt Fruman, and the Subcommittee on Libraries and Youth Affairs will be chaired by Ward 5 Councilmember Zach Parker. And so if you're not familiar, freshman council members don't have their own committees yet. So Councilmember Fruman and Councilmember Parker did not have their own committees. So they'll now chair these subcommittees. So hopefully it won't be too large of a burden on them to do that. The allegations that are leveled at Councilmember White harm public trust in the entire DC government. Councilmember Pinto was particularly concerned that these allegations involve contracts with our violence intervention programs, which we know are really critical to public safety work. She plans to hold public oversight hearings to evaluate the potential reach of these allegations and to restore public trust in our violence intervention efforts and in the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. The second priority, you may have seen in the news this week, for the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety is focusing on oversight of the Office of Unified Communications, or OUC, which is our 911 operations center. There have been continued unacceptable errors and incidents at OUC, and Councilmember Pinto knows we have to have fast, accurate, and reliable emergency responses when there are lives on the line. Security C included hiring and retention incentives for OUC call takers and dispatchers, and transparency provisions that have shown the below minimum staffing levels through the mandated public dashboard, which I'll share a link to in the chat. I visited OUC with Councilmember Pinto on Monday. After our visit, Councilmember Pinto announced new legislation that is going to build on Security C and increase transparency by requiring the public release of after-action reports, computer-aided dispatch reports, and transcripts and transcripts of the 911 recordings for any incident where there's reason to believe that any errors led to serious injury or death. She also announced that she will hold monthly oversight hearings on the recent failures and accidents and performance and transparency metrics and on the technology and agency coordination. Additionally, the committee is going to be visiting OUC unannounced every other week to view day-to-day operations and staffing levels. So for example, while we were there on Monday, it was very evident that staffing levels may have been increased because of our visit. So again, we're going to do unannounced visits, hopefully to see how it's really going. We are also expecting movement on many other bills. I know noise issues continue to be a big concern in parts of 2G. As you know, Councilmember Pinto sponsored two bills to address this, the Amplified Sound Mitigation Act and the Harmonious Living Amendment Act. Together, these set restrictions on amplified sound in public spaces, such as speakers and megaphones. They increase accountability for intentional and persistent violators, and they clarify which agencies are responsible for enforcement and improve soundproofing of entertainment venues near residential areas. If you'd like to testify or submit testimony for the Harmonious Living Act, which deals with that last portion on soundproofing, and I know Black Denali might be particularly interested in that. That hearing is on September 24th at 1 p.m. I will post a link with the instructions. I know that some folks are also concerned about vehicle noise, and Councilmember Pinto's Vehicular Noise Reduction Act already did have a hearing, but it still needs to be voted on by the Committee on Transportation and the Environment. So if you're interested in the vehicular noise bill, please contact Councilmember Charles Allen's office. He chairs that committee, and let them know that you'd like that bill to move forward this fall. The Committee on Public Works is also planning to move ahead legislation dealing with fake tags, vehicle tags. and illegal dumping, which I know are two other persistent issues around the area. And then the committee of the whole is going to continue work on clarifying cannabis regulations, which I know you're now dealing with basically at every meeting. The Medical Cannabis Clarification Amendment Act of 2023 was marked up and passed out of the Committee on Business and Economic Development on July 8th, so just before recess. The bill is now an omnibus that incorporates all of the emergency medical cannabis legislation passed in this past year. And our legislative team let me know that they do anticipate seeing some changes to the protest process. So I know, again, that's a big deal for ANCs. So if you have thoughts on the protest process for cannabis establishments, we do encourage you to reach out to Councilmember McDuffie's office. You can also reach out to our office, of course, and let us know your thoughts, or honestly, please copy us if you're reaching out to his office. But again, there may be some changes to the protest process for cannabis establishments. Almost done. So Bundy Field, you may have seen that the netting is finally installed on the west side of the, is getting installed on the west side of the field. There was one tree growing over the fence line. And so it took a while for KIP to get a permit to remove the tree from DDOT, although I guess they did it pretty quickly for DDOT standards. So now they have that, and they're planning to resume work this weekend. And hopefully the netting will be installed. So all the poles are up, but the netting isn't there yet. So they hopefully will have the netting installed shortly after that. I think that's all for me. I'll post all those links in the chat, and obviously happy to take questions, and I'm gonna stop sharing.
So I have a question, Brian, and maybe you can't answer this. To avoid future Bundy Field situations, which frankly has gone on way too long, who is responsible for that field?
Sure, yeah. So we had a meeting recently that I invited Commissioner Watkins to with DGS and KIP. So technically the property is owned by DGS or owned by the city, and they lease it to KIP. The current lease for KIP goes until 2026, and it basically says that KIP is responsible for just about everything, including everything after hours. KIP does not love that because they feel, why are we responsible for people playing soccer on a Sunday morning when it has nothing to do with our students or staff? So they are trying to get some changes. They will have to enter into a formal negotiation with DGS that they said I'm not part of, and I guess the ANC is not part of either. So they'll renegotiate the lease, and KIP is sending them like their top requests. I raised just about every issue I've ever heard here from constituents at that meeting, and said, you know, there's a lot of like infrastructure needs here. Basically, I don't think it's ADA accessible. The hillside on P Street is eroding into the sidewalk. The parking lot is a huge mess and has giant potholes everywhere. And so, and also they don't open the fence on certain sides. Anyway, so I raised all of that. So they're aware of all those issues, but yeah, it's been unclear. Just to complicate it even further, it was a DCPS property because that Bundy School, which has been a shelter at times, it's been various things, and now it's the Safe Shores program, I guess. That was a DCPS property. So it's been complicated, and certainly there needs to be some reallocation of, you know, responsibilities, because it's not working in its current setup.
So please keep in touch with Commissioner Watkins, and when there is some sort of final something, because frankly, if I see one more email about so-and-so soccer at 2 a.m. in the morning or beer cans, I am going to just lose my mind.
Yeah.
So
I'm hopeful the netting will help with the soccer ball issue. DDOT has promised me that they'll plant new like evergreen type trees along the fencing after the netting's done, to hopefully help with the noise and having to see like soccer players. I think there's just, you know, a lot of tension there in that block, unfortunately.
Okay, well, thank you for your work on that. Commissioner McCarty?
Hi, Brian. Thank you for being here. I'm going to keep my two questions as brief as possible. First off, on the cannabis protesting process, you may recall that this commission did pass a resolution in July asking for APCA to reinstate community rights in the protest process. And I just want to be very clear with you that that is exactly what we are expecting any future legislation to include. It is absolutely atrocious, the fact that we have stripped community groups of any right to protest cannabis-related licenses. This commission is going through many of those at this moment, and I can tell you that my constituents are not happy about it, and that we have tried to find standing in the protest process, and it's just not fair. You know, just like many other folks, that this commission is brand new. We don't have a lot of funds. We cannot hire support in the protest process. And so it's one lonely commissioner against teams of lawyers and advisors and ABCA. And so I just want to be very clear with you that I expect a response to that resolution, and I expect that resolution and those requests to be directly incorporated into any legislation that the council member and the committee, McDuffie's committee, is considering. So I just want to make sure that I share that with you. And I do thank you for pushing that forward and making sure that our community groups are respected and valued throughout this process. The second question I have for you is about OUC oversight. And so I'm very happy that Councilmember Pinto has begun the process of practicing more judicious oversight over OUC, especially this fall. We've had, of course, as you know, a few grave errors this summer, and those have to be corrected and addressed directly and immediately. However, I am a bit discouraged by Councilmember Pinto's proposals in the sense that in the fine line, she still has HCMA writing the after investigation reports. It's also well known that HCMA has deliberately left out details in past investigative reports after errors. And so I want to express my concern and opposition to Councilmember Pinto leaving HCMA in the driver's seat for delivering these investigative reports after OUC has errors. And I want to encourage you and the council member's office to strongly reconsider incorporating independent investigations for OUC errors. The public needs trust in OUC, and they also don't have trust in HCMA right now. And so I just want to ask you and implore you to please talk to the council member and please make sure that independent investigations are included after errors have been found by OUC.
All right, okay, well, thank you. Well, on the first point, definitely hear you, and I appreciate this ANC's resolution on that. I definitely recommend reaching out to the at-large council members because I don't think they understand this clearly enough yet. And Councilmember Pinto will certainly keep working on them, but any support that you all can lend to being in their ear on that, I think will help. So that's on the cannabis protest process. In terms of OUC, definitely hear you on that. The good news is this is just the introduction of a bill, so there's still plenty of time for markups and changes. So definitely once dates for the hearings are announced, I'll share those with you so that you can submit testimony. I know that in terms of having an independent agency doing oversight, OUC would still have to share information with them. So again, a lot of it relies on the information that OUC is sharing, which is why we're making such a push on transparency right now. But definitely hear you. I understand the concerns about HCMA.
Thank you, Brian. I'll also give you another thanks for the noise legislation. I will be testifying in a couple of weeks, and I appreciate the council members' support of those bills as well.
Thank you.
Okay, any other commissioner have a question for Brian from Councilmember Pinto's office? Nope. Okay, opening up to the public. Any question for Councilmember Pinto's office? Raise your virtual hand. Or two, oh, there's Parker. Parker. Hi, Parker.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool. Hey there, Brian. Just wanted to ask a question on the 501 New York Avenue soundproofing that was proposed by Council Member Pinto. If there is a price figure or tag associated with what it would cost the city to soundproof that site.
Yeah, I don't have that information. I can certainly ask. It's probably DGS that would know the answer to that.
Sure thing.
So I have some feedback, Brian, about that. Of course I do. So, you know, not only is there's going to be sound because of all the vehicles and people and whatnot, and potential protests that'll be around. If someone of notoriety, celebrity that could very well come there will be protests like January 6th-ish or something, right? Let's keeping it real, right? Because that could happen. But, you know, DGS said, well, we assure you, Commissioner Nigro, that there will be no sound from the cells. Well, I have always questioned this as my older constituents who have been there when the younger teenagers were there many decades ago now, things could be heard, but unless the Department of Corrections literally muzzles people, but when they're moving them in and out of those cells, you will hear people. And what I've been told by time and time again by many a police officer, especially the Capitol Police, to be honest with you, they love talking about the Central Cell Block, is that people scream all the time. So I don't know how they're going to solve that. But there you go. There's some feedback. Okay, anyone else? No. Okay, Brian, we thank you.
Thanks. Have a good rest of the meeting.
Yep. Ty from the mayor's office. Mr. McCarty, Commissioner McCarty, you see her? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Nope.
he's coming over.
Oh, there she is. Okay, great. Hi, Ty.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
And welcome. This is your first time, right? Because last time you didn't quasi.
Yeah,
was
the last
brief.
time was just the introduction. I appreciate your patience. I'm just leaving Banneker High School for their back to school event that they have going on right now. I'm happy to be here. I do have a PowerPoint presentation, which I will share with you in just a moment. I'll go ahead and pull that up. Awesome. And so I'm just going to start from the front here. Can everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So yes, just wanted to provide some information around MOKers. I'm sure you all are well aware of our role, but we are the primary constituent service organization by providing rapid and complete responses to constituent requests, complaints, and questions. If you need a contact, as of right now, there will be two co-partners or liaisons for each ward. If it's not Ward 2 specific, if you have a family member or friend who does need to be connected to their appropriate ward manager, please feel free to contact that number that's listed below. And on the right-hand side, you'll see my personal information. So if there's any issues or concerns that you would like to bring to my attention, please do feel free to contact me via email, or you can call or text me at the number listed below. So here are our ward, are all of our ward managers that are listed in addition to our associate director of operations. So again, if you have a family member or friend who lives outside of Ward 2 and you're looking to connect them with their appropriate manager, I have listed their contact information, which can be found on the left-hand side. If you are looking to invite the mayor to an upcoming meeting or to events, I've provided the link where you can go ahead and complete the request form to request the mayor's attendance, even if you would like to have her provide remarks or just for a physical presence. And below, if you haven't done so already, I do highly encourage you all to subscribe to the newsletter, which goes out every Friday. And it's just important updates, information to be shared with the community, just so that everyone's up to speed with what's going on in DC. And here we have information about our safety hub in Chinatown. I am there every Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. I completed a shift there earlier today. This is walk-in services available for our residents constituents. So if they ever need an opportunity for them to come in to ask any questions, not only myself, but other designated agencies within DC are present there also to ask any questions that they may have. So I do encourage you, if you're ever in downtown and Chinatown area, on Thursdays 1 to 3, please come visit me. I'm more than happy to assist you as best as I can. And next, I have a slide for 311. If you haven't done so already, I do strongly encourage that you all download the 311 app. It is a very useful tool to go ahead and address any concerns that you may have in terms of illegal dumping, whether you need a trash bin repair, If there is tree pruning that needs to be taken care of, the 311 app will provide you with an estimate turnaround time in regards to finding a solution for the issue that you are submitting a request for. In addition to following up with me, which is always helpful, I do encourage you to download the 311 app also. And these next couple slides will just be resources in regards to job opportunities or hiring engagements. OUC, they are looking to hire telecommunication equipment operators. So I do strongly encourage you, if not you, if you know of somebody who is interested in employment with DC government, I do encourage you to complete that application before September 30th. And here's another kind of a job fair opportunity. And actually this took place earlier today with DCPL. And again, if you know somebody or if yourself is interested in registering, I know it has passed, but if you want to send that information over to me, I can make sure that it gets to the appropriate point of contact person. In the DC Public Safety Job Fair, another resource and opportunity for employment. If you are available or know of somebody, I do encourage you to take advantage of these resources, opportunities that are available. I provided the link for RSVP here. And again, just another opportunity for employment. Positions are available for the following trades listed below. Please feel free to pass this information along to anybody that you know that may be interested again in employment and services or opportunities. Another page of continuous opportunities and services that are coming down the pipeline in the coming days or weeks. Harvesting opportunities for out of school, disability career fair, and save the date for the LGBTQ community hiring fair that's coming up on the 24th. September is Suicide Prevention Month. If you or anybody you know is in need of resources, I provided some information, some resourceful information for contact information to reach out to if you know somebody that could best benefit and suit in regards to this. In addition to that is also National Recovery Month. So I just provided some information in regards to resources for different opportunities and services that are available throughout DC. And these slides have also been shared with Chairperson Nigro. So this can also have access to the links that are provided on these slideshows. And if you're like me, who's trying to hold on to summer just a little bit longer, there are extended summer pool days available at the designated locations. And for more details, you can visit the link that's provided. And next, just going into some upcoming events, the continuation of Jazz in the Park on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock. Theater Week is about to kick off very soon. So I provided some information for some of the local theaters that are in the area for some fun shows and activities that are going to be available to the community. And then we also have Asian Night Market, Dine All Night coming up as well. The RSV Pink is provided, and then also Soca as well. So this is just kind of a real-time Caribbean carnival experience that's going to have different engagements and activities for all ages. So I provided that link and information below also. And some more upcoming events, Open Streets on 7th Street. I provided the location and details. That's going to take place on Saturday, October 5th from 9 to 3 p.m. And so I provided the contact information and for additional information for that event below on the slide if you are interested. So I know that's something a lot of people are looking forward to. So I'm hopeful that you all can join us during that time. And on this page here, not all agencies, but these are commonly a lot of the agencies that I work to on a day-to-day basis, just based off the constituent concerns that are brought to my attention. So I provided them here for you as a resource. If there are any agencies that are not available on the slide that you would like contact information for, please do not hesitate to reach out, and I'll go ahead and share that with you. And here are some areas of focus on behalf of the mayor's office: public safety being the first and one of the most important. Within this time frame, year to date, there has been a decline of 33% in total crime based off of crime data DC. Not to negate the ongoing crime that's still happening, but on a positive note, there has been a decline from the previous year. And MPD, as I'm sure, has provided more insight around that in terms of the data and stats when it comes to crime specifically in 2G. And another area of focus was revitalizing downtown. So I have provided the full report, which you can see the vision and opportunity of how we continue to grow and develop downtown DC. So I do encourage you to take some time to review that full report that's provided in the link. And another area of focus is education. We recently just kicked off back to school. And so there are wonderful tools and resources provided on behalf of the mayor's office, not only for the students, but for the parents and the caretakers. Very helpful information and contact resources that are available on the back to school guide, which is provided. And there's also opportunity for those that may not be enrolled in school that can have the opportunity to still get connected to a school. And to wrap things up, last but not least, Instagram and a Twitter or X account has been created. This will be another means of communication. So if you haven't done so already, I would encourage you all to follow those designated platforms as a way to communicate. And
All righty.
that will complete my
Great.
presentation.
That's great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, commissioners, I see Commissioner McCarty has his hand up.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. Thank you, Ty, for being here. I have three quick things. One, I do want to make sure that I share appreciation for you and the work that you're doing, and highlight for everybody on this call that Ty is currently the only moker for Ward 2, and Ty deserves a teammate. This is not supposed to be a one-person job for the entire ward. There is an application. I'm gonna let you post that application in the chat after we take you off a panelist, but if anybody's looking for a job in DC government, loves Ward 2 and wants to help all of us out, please apply for that. Please help make sure that Ty has the support she needs to support all of us, because Ty has been doing all of this on her own. But Ty, I know we've also been chatting about a couple of things, and I just want to bring those to light and ask you a couple of questions. First is DPW. Of course, everybody remembers we hosted the NATO summit here in July. And Ty, I know you and I have been on many email threads about DPW and making sure that they come back and make sure that the community is cleaned up and back in tip-top shape after that event. I unfortunately was walking around again today, and there are still tons of no parking signs from DPW that are littering the community, still on lampposts. There are zip cords on lampposts, things that just weren't removed. And for everybody on this call, that is not acceptable. Us commissioners here have been warned before and even fined for not removing signs that we posted and leaving residue and zip ties on posts. And so it's really unfortunate that our own government agencies do not follow by their own rule book. And so I'm asking you once again, please help me hold DPW accountable. They need to come back through this community and remove those signs before they become litter, and remove any residue and any zip ties or accessories that were posted to lampposts and public spaces. They need to come through and remove those, because it has been a full 2 months and that's completely unacceptable. So Ty, could you please continue to push DPW to come back through this community and do their job.
Absolutely. And just to chime in on that, is that in regards to the same locations that we spoke about previously?
All around 2G04. I can't speak for the other commissioners
Okay.
on the call. If they're all around 2G04, I'm going to assume that other commissioners probably still have old signage that will soon become litter in their communities. But I'm speaking specifically around the entire perimeter of 2G04.
Will do. Take note of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I want to thank you for helping me continue to apply pressure to DDOT. But I also want to continue to ask you to please push on DDOT. As folks should hopefully know here, I sent a letter to DDOT last week expressing my grave concerns about their inaction on the intersection of 10th and Massachusetts Avenue Northwest. This is an issue that is of grave concern for my constituents. There is a child care center on the corner of 10th and L Street Northwest. And excuse me, it's on the corner of 10th and K. And my constituents have to walk their children, their pets across this intersection every single day. And there was a traffic fatality there 2 years ago. I've sent videos, I've sent comments, I've written letters, I've passed resolutions, and nothing has been done. I've seen how fast DDOT can choose to move when it comes to the intersection of 6th Street Northwest and New York Avenue Northwest, but they have refused to do their jobs when it comes to 10th and Massachusetts Avenue Northwest. So I'm quite alarmed at the fact that we would weigh another tragic fatality at 6th and New York Avenue over another fatality at 10th Avenue and 10th Street Northwest and Massachusetts Avenue Northwest. But the fact is, both of those intersections need traffic calming mechanisms and ways to keep our community members safe. So that we can live in walkable, accessible communities and take care of our families, our children, and our pets. So I want you to please help continue applying the pressure to me. I know we've been shared dashboards. Guess what? That data is not on that dashboard. And so we've got to get something moving here before, God forbids, another accident, another fatality, another person is hurt or loses their life.
I appreciate you sharing that. So yes, I'll continue to work with DDOT on just getting kind of expediting that issue. Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. Any other commissioner have questions for Ty? Alex? No?
Sure, Ty, you mentioned Dine All Night, but you didn't mention Art All Night, which is coming up in our neighborhood on the 28th of September, starting at 7 o'clock. Sean Main Street is the presenter, but it's Mayor Bowser's Art All Night. So this is the 13th year that we will be presenting a free overnight arts festival, and our main location with the Welcome Center as well as main stage. And Art Market will be down on the 700 800 blocks of K Street on the south side of Mount Vernon Square. SDC is going to be activating the square itself. So it's all free. So you can go to artallnightdcshaw.com for more information.
Thank you for flagging that, Commissioner.
Okay, any other commissioners before I go to the public? Nope. All righty, anyone on the, Commissioner Barry, do you have a question? No? Okay. Anyone on the public side would like to talk to Ty from the mayor's office? Raise your virtual hand. Nope. Okay, Ty, we will see you next month. Okay, we thank you for, and your emails are great.
Thank you very much.
All right,
I
and we thank you
appreciate
for
it.
that little walk you did last week.
Absolutely. And just to add, if there is any specific area within 2G where you all would like to do a community walk and also incorporate and include the DC agencies, please do not hesitate to send me an email. I will drop my information in the chat so you can reach out to me. But please do, if there's any specific area of interest or concern that you would like MPD, DDOT, DPW, or any of our partnering agencies to be a part of, please let me know so we can put something on the calendar.
All right, great. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Alrighty. And please post a job description too.
Will do. Thank you very much.
All right, so we have Solana from the convention center. I think she's on here.
Moving her over.
Okay. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. It's been a while.
I know, 2 months or whatever,
Right. I
July.
mean, too long with time for me. But that being said, my name is Solana Vandernet. I am the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Regarding the September event calendar for the remainder of this month, we have 3 upcoming events at the Convention Center, 1 single day and 2 multi-days. I would like to highlight 2 of the following events. Starting yesterday through this Saturday, September 14th, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Annual Legislative Conference is being held at the Convention Center with an estimated attendance of 8,000. We will host the American Society for Radiation Oncology from Sunday, September 29th through Wednesday, October 2nd, with an estimated attendance of 12,500. Beginning this Saturday, Walking Town is back. Every September, Washington, D.C. hosts an annual event to showcase the city's art, culture, and history. Join Events DC from September 14th through the 21st across all 8 wards for our Walking Town community activations. These free, family-friendly events celebrate the 25th anniversary of Walking Town, which, as I mentioned before, showcases the city's art, culture, and history through guided tours. Listen to music by local DJs, enjoy free food and games, and learn more about Walking Town. Bring your friends and family as we celebrate 8 days, 8 wards, 1 city. For further information, visit eventsdc.com/walkingtowndc to learn more and sign up for a free walking tour. And in regards to Ward 2, the community engagement team will be at the Kennedy Rec Center this Monday, September 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. So stop by and say hi if you are available. We hope to see you there. And then as Alex mentioned, we are excited to announce that Art All Night is back at the Carnegie Library lawn on Saturday, September 28th. This year, the theme is Once on This Island. Embark on a vibrant cultural journey at Events DC's Once on This Island activation during the city's Art All Night festivities on the Carnegie Library East and West lawns, located directly in front of the Walter E. Washington Convention Center on Saturday, September 28th. Beginning at 7 p.m., this free event will be celebrating the rich heritage of the Caribbean. Immerse yourself in live performances, engaging art activations, and authentic cuisines. Join us as we celebrate the rhythms, flavors, and traditions that make these regions truly unique. All food and giveaways are on a first come, first served basis. I'll include the registration link in the group chat as well, but the registration link is bit.ly 2024. And we look forward to seeing you there as well. Thank you for letting me join this call, and please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you for that. Commissioners, do you have anything for the Convention Center for Solana? Oh, Stephen, good.
2 quick things. Hi, Solana. First,
Hi.
I just want to thank Events DC. Events DC partnered with our community nonprofit, Alley Living Together, and with Lost and Found. We all co-hosted a Walking Town tour in July 27th of Blagden Alley and Naylor Court. My constituents loved it, loved it, loved it. We have a waiting list and folks want more. So please know that you're always welcome to help us host more tours in Blagden Alley and Naylor Court, some of the most beautiful historic alley dwelling communities in the city, and that my constituents were so appreciative and just want you to do it again.
Good.
The second, just quick question. I do want to thank you for your work on the last national security event for the summit, but we also all know that the inauguration will be coming up. And so we'll all be dealing with another national special security event in just a short time, believe it or not. And so I just am curious if you all have already started any planning for that, or when we can expect to receive more ANC and community invites to begin the planning process for that, because it's September, that's 4 months away. I know it's going to sneak up on us.
Yep. I think she's frozen. Solana. Oh, there you go.
Okay. You froze. So the last thing you said that it's September.
Oh yeah, so it's September. We know another national special security event is coming up in just a few months. Have you all started any planning or preparations? When can the ANC or the community expect to start seeing more community invites like we saw with the NATO summit?
Yep, and thank you for both your participation in the Blagden Alley tour. That was a great success. I heard lots of great feedback as well, and also again for everyone for their help in making the NATO summit much better than what the prior African summit was. So that being said, as Stephen mentioned, that the is inauguration. And so as soon as I have further confirmed dates, I will let you guys know immediately. And I'm grateful and appreciative of the continuing partnerships that we will have as we did prior for this next NSSE event coming up.
Okay, great. Any other commissioners have a question? Go ahead, Commissioner Barry.
Hi, could you tell me more about what's going on at the Kennedy Rec Center on Monday?
Sure. So as I mentioned, the Walking Town activations, that starts, the kickoff actually is Saturday in Ward 1, and then every day from there we go to different wards. So the Ward 2 Walking Town activation, which again is a free family activation to participate in, that will be at the Kennedy Rec Center. And that will start at 4 o'clock and will go till 6 o'clock. So this is an opportunity for the community to get free giveaways, engage in free activations, and also learn more about Walking Town, and also too just about upcoming events DC activities.
Okay, all right. Send us some flyers or,
Yep, I'll send you the link.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
That sounds fun.
Yep.
Commissioners, anyone else? No. Okay, public on the other side, anyone have a question for Solana from the Convention Center? Our significant neighbor?
Mhm.
No? All righty.
All right, thank you.
That's great. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so next on our agenda, this is what I like to, oh no, we have to do announcements. I'm sorry, Alex, no announcements. Do we have any announcements? I'll start, but my announcements are going to be about 501 New York Avenue. So that for the community to know, our next step with the BZA case number 21177, we are opposed to the Department of General Services getting their special exception relief to build the central cell block at 501 New York Avenue. Our BZA case is October 9th. If you'd like to participate, we have letters, you can appear virtually. In person, we encourage that. And so there's a lot of action going on with myself and our legal team, developers, neighbors, you name it. It is every second of my life now. Okay, so there's my announcement. Commissioner McCarty.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. I just want to quickly remind everybody again, multiple presenters have mentioned Art All Night, September 28th, South Lawn of Carnegie Library, Open Streets. We don't have DDOT here tonight, but Open Street, 7th Street will be closed on October 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please join us for that. And then the Friends of 10th Street Park at 1119 10th Street Northwest, the little pocket park right off of 10th Street. They're hosting their fall festival on Sunday, October 6th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. They'll have live music. The DC Public Library bookmobile will come out. There will be a voter registration tent and children's activities and games and snacks and food and all that good stuff. So want to make sure the community is aware. Come on out to 2G04, hang out with us at 10th Street Park on Sunday, October 6th for our fall festival.
I actually forgot. I forgot we have a community cleanup on September 21st. So we're for 2G06, not organized by me, thank God, but by Alistair Chang, who's our Ward 2 school board member and then constituent. So I did not have to plan it. So September 21st, you'll all get a flyer if anyone's on the side for my constituents. Okay, anything else from commissioners? Any other announcements? No?
Tony.
Oh, you do? I'm sorry. You were waving at me. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, here we are going into fall, and our ongoing problem of rodent infestation and the construction that's going on around the area. We're just basically reminding you to make sure your trash lids are closed. Those that have holes in them, contact the DPW or 311. See if you can get your trash cans replaced or repaired. And let's try to be proactive this year, trying to keep this down.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone on the other side would like to make an announcement? Any sort of community announcements? Nope. Okay. All right, next on our agenda, this is what we like to call What is Going On with That Development? This is a new segment for us, and we have a presentation by Rich, who is from Trammell Crow, and this is the infamous property at 7th and P Street. So the question is, what is going on with that property? Because God knows Commissioner Watkins and I, and many people who are on this, some other people on this call are quite familiar with what's not happening there. So, and we need to, or sometimes what's happening there. So we need to, is Rich here? Is he here? I thought he was on.
Did you
Rich
say
was on.
7th and P Street?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There he is, Rich McPhillips. Rich?
I got him. Anyone
Okay.
else?
No, that's it, just Rich. So I've asked Rich to provide a brief presentation to bring us up to speed about this, because this property has languished for, I don't know, Alex, how many years?
I mean,
Forever?
the property has been largely vacant since 1968. Right.
There you go. That's a long time. All right, Rich, you can share your screen if you want and give us an update of what's going on in this property and introduce yourself. Rich from Trammell Crow. I think you're muted, Rich.
You hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Commissioner Nigro. It has been too long. Rich McPhillips with Trammell Crow Company. I'm the development manager for this project here at 7th and P. Appreciate you giving me some time here to give you an update. Well, as we just discussed, it's been a long time, certainly much longer than anyone had hoped. Just as quick background for those that don't know, we took this project or this site through the PUD process a few years ago and received approval in late 2021 to build 223 units above ground floor retail. 29 of those units will be affordable either through the PUD process as IZ units or through the affordability covenants that existed on the property before the PUD began. Since we received that approval, we've been working hard with our development team and consultants and others to get the project advanced and ready to start. We've fully designed the project. We've filed for a building permit. We've worked with the city and several of the agencies to advance all the administrative approvals necessary to begin work. We're mostly through that process. And from a practical standpoint, this project is ready to go. It's shovel ready, but for getting our financing lined up. And regarding financing, this project unfortunately is a victim of what most commercial real estate is a victim of right now, and that's just a very difficult capital markets environment, both from a debt and equity standpoint. This is largely driven by obviously the high interest rate environment that we've all heard about. Also the high inflationary environment that has occurred over the last couple of years has kind of wrecked a lot of budgets and made things more challenging on that front as well. But with all that said, we are optimistic. We are seeing inflation cool, so that's getting some things better in line right now. Of course, we've heard a lot about Fed rate cuts that are supposed to be coming, and if those things happen, that will be very good for this project, and we are optimistic, and we've had some folks that potentially would start becoming interested in this project. It won't happen overnight, unfortunately, but we are getting ready as much as we can right now. So we did have to go back and ask for an extension for our PUD approvals, a 2-year extension that will be taken up by the zoning commission later this month. We don't think we're going to need those 2 years. And I guess I just kind of wrap up by saying we are very committed to this project. We are personally invested in this project with a lot of time and other resources. So there's really no one more motivated than us to get this thing going. And we appreciate everyone's support to get to this point and in the future. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So Rich, you have a picture you can flash on the screen of what this looks like? 'Cause it has been a long time, just so people are aware.
Yeah, let me see if I can. I'll pull up a rendering from the PUD. I can figure out how to do this. Can you see? Can you see that?
Yep.
So this is a perspective from across the street at Kennedy Rec Center, looking up Marion Street. See if I can back up a little bit. This is looking from 7th NP. I will note that this whole package here and all these pictures, the exhibits, site plans, this is all publicly available. If you want to, or I'm happy to provide more detail on all this if you want, but it's again 223 units above ground floor retail, below grade parking. And what else can I tell you? This is some conceptual renderings of what we plan to build.
All right, so I have a question. So this has been brought up in front of us before, and certainly with Commissioner Watkins and myself about the, many topics of people hanging out or whatever. So that parcel of land that is currently not fenced in, right, at Marion and P, you own that or you don't own that?
We do not
The
own
little,
it.
that little sliver where see people talk about hanging out or whatever, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But to clarify who owns that, where people are sitting or things happen or don't happen, what if you could clarify for the community if you own that or not?
We do not own it. That's public space.
Okay. Because that has
So,
been brought up
yeah,
many times.
for sure. So we will get, so this picture actually is a good, kind of illustrates that well. You notice this setback from what would be kind of the curb and the tree boxes here all the way to the front door. That's all public space. And that's, I think, the area that you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Once we begin construction, we will get a public space permit and we'll be able to extend that fence out and utilize that for construction purposes. And then of course, once we wrap up construction, that, and we'll improve all that space with, improved pavers and landscaping and everything, but that is not owned by us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, commissioners, any questions for Rich while we have him here? Alex? Oh, good, Commissioner McCarty.
Hi, Rich. I just wanted to ask if you could restate how many affordable units would be included in this building?
Sure, the 29 total units, 19 of those are inclusionary zoning units, which means it's a part of the PUD that we proffered to do this PUD. 18 of those 19 would be affordable to 60%, up to 60% AMI or less. One of those would be up to 50% AMI. And then there are a total of 10 affordable dwelling unit, 10 affordable units that are associated with some affordability covenants that were a part of the property before we got involved. 3 of those 10 would be available for folks up to 30% AMI, and then 7 would be available for up to 50% AMI as well.
Thank you.
So,
Commissioner Watkins?
Rich-
Oh, okay, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so Rich, with the Federal Reserve getting ready to start, cutting rates, is there a target rate that you're waiting for to be able to finance the project? That's the first question. Secondly, best case scenario, groundbreaking, and ribbon cutting.
So I wouldn't say there's a target, or if there is a target, you have to ask kind of institutional investors out there what that target would be. We're just trying to get someone interested in talking to us about it. And, different institutions have different return metrics. But, if we're going to be cutting, or if the Fed's cutting 75 basis points by the end of the year, which a lot of people think they will, I think that's going to start to hopefully wake up a lot of folks, and their math will start to be a little bit better. I think part of this is just kind of the outlook too, beyond just the numbers. What's the outlook for DC, the macro economy, things like that. So there's we probably have to tune in the CNBC to get a more detailed answer to all this, but there's a lot of things going into it. Best case scenario, we plan to be going out and doing a very concerted effort, capital raising effort this fall, hoping to kind of build on some momentum that will hopefully come out of the Fed's meeting next week. If we do get some momentum there and we get some folks interested, it would likely be, I guess, again, best case scenario, if we'd find someone, we'd still have to go through the process, negotiating documents, et cetera. So we're probably looking at, first to second quarter of next year, best case, before we would be able to put a shovel in the ground.
And what's the construction timeline again?
It'd be about 2 years, a little less than 2 years.
Thanks. Hoping that everything starts moving in the right direction too.
Thank you.
The similar situation to what we had in our last meeting with 1200 Fifth Street. You're same place there, Rich.
Yep.
Okay. Any other commissioners have questions for Rich before I open up to the public?
No, just good luck, Rich. You've been hammering at this for a long time. So let's hope it gets done real quick.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
Ms. Watkins, anything from you?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Okay, anyone from the other side have a question for Rich, who is the developer for 7th and P, this property that has been infamous, empty for a very long time in our community and talked about forever? Nothing? No one? Okay, Rich, we thank you for your time and we look forward to good things in the future, we hope. And
Thank
keep
you.
us up to date. Keep us up to date if you would.
We definitely will. And again, I appreciate your support, and you'll be one of the first group of people to know once this thing is ready to go.
Great. Thank you. It's good to see you too.
Thank you. Likewise. Take care.
Okay, everyone. Bye, Rich. Okay, now we have here coming. Okay, here we go. 1613 Fifth Street. We are talking about zoning. This is in Commissioner Watkins' area. So why don't you, okay, everyone for 16th, everyone for the for that property, please raise your virtual hand so Commissioner McCarty can move you over. Is it just you, Mr. Cross?
Yes, ma'am. I can present tonight. I believe I'm joined here by Alfred Manling as well.
I was gonna say. No, I don't think he's.
I'm prepared
Oh,
to present. We
I
can
see
continue.
Red Manneling. Does Alfred?
That's right.
go Red? Okay.
Yes, goes by Red. Thank you.
And I see you, Nicole. Is that Nicole Shea? So Nicole, what's gonna have, we're gonna have them do a presentation, then we're gonna have discussion and then open it up to the community.
I've promoted Red to panelist, but he has to accept.
Okay, very good. I can go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So appreciate you guys having us back. This we're presenting a project here at 1613 5th Street Northwest in the RF1 zone on behalf of the applicant. We were last here in June. We originally presented to the zoning committee on 6/5 and to the full ANC on 6/13. We were scheduled for a decision hearing in July, but got pulled off that agenda at the beginning of the meeting. And happy to refresh you and the rest of the ANC on what we're proposing here. This is case number 21168 with the Board of Zoning Adjustments. The case is currently asking for 2 areas of relief. The first and primary area of relief is for lot occupancy. The second area of relief is for the removal of an architectural rooftop element that, as we'll discuss in a little bit, may no longer be required. The property 1613 is located on the east side of the block between Warner Street and Q. As mentioned, the first area of relief is to construct a rear addition that would bring the lot occupancy to a total of 70%. That would be 10% more than what is allowed as a matter of right. As you see here, the proposed rear addition will only extend 7 feet past the adjoining neighbors and is not anticipated to have any effect on the light and air of the adjacent property. The addition features windows only on the rear of the property, not facing into either of the adjacent properties. And all other aspects of the project are conforming with the matter of right regulations, including the building height, which is allowed to be up to 35 feet. We're proposing 33.4. The rear yard setback is required to be 20 feet. We have 21. And the rear addition, as noted, is only 7 feet, which is less than the 10 allowed. The reason for asking for this request is that this has a lot of precedent in this area due to the small lot sizes. The proposed lot occupancy is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. There's several existing properties in the area that are already at 70%, as shown here in red. And specifically, 2 of the 7 properties in this row are already at 70%, which is what we're proposing to expand to. The second area of relief, as discussed, was originally for removal of an architectural rooftop element. This is specifically for the removal and replacement of the cornice. When we were here in June, we were proposing to push the cornice up just slightly to align with that of the neighbor on the left in this, facing the property, more specifically the corner property. In working with OP since that time, OP felt strongly that they wanted to keep the line of the cornice of the other side, the right-hand side, which is kind of more of the majority of the block. And we have revised our submission to reflect that. So it's very minor, but the cornice is back in the location where it is today. And so that area of relief may or may not be even required anymore. My apologies. I kind of lost my. Okay, so the as mentioned, we're proposing a 3rd-story addition across this property, and that is designed to be in character with some of the surrounding properties. and what a third story may have looked like if built originally on this building. We've prepared some solar studies for this project. The solar studies on the right represent the matter of right shadows, that is, the shadows that are being cast by the volume that would not require any relief. The ones on the left are showing the shadows that are being cast by the project we're proposing. And the areas in red are showing the net increase in shadow by the relief we are seeking. The images you see here are for the spring equinox. It's really any equinox. And what you can see is at 10 a.m. and at noon, there is a small amount of additional shadow, but it's landing primarily on the roof of the neighbor to the north. I should say that this property is located east-west, so all of the shadows are limited to just the property to the north. Later in the afternoon on the equinox, there is a moment around 2 o'clock where there's some shading in the backyard based on the new proposal. In the winter time, again, 10 o'clock and noon, very small amount of additional shadows here, almost entirely on the rooftop. In the winter, still again at 2 o'clock, there is a moment where there's a small amount of shading in the rear. Again, this period of the season already has a lot of shadows anyway, so it's mostly shaded anyway. In the summer solstice, there's not too many shadows to begin with. Sun's very high in the sky. Again, 10 and 2, it's primarily on the rooftop of the neighbor to the north. And at 2 p.m., there's a small square there in the rear yard. So the owners at 1613 5th Street Northwest are excited to renovate their home to accommodate their family of 6. This is a owner-occupied, single-family house. This is not a developer. They have been working overseas for the State Department for many years and are just now getting back to DC because they have only returned to the States in the last couple of weeks. They were not here when we last presented. They may not have been able to meet with many of the neighbors, but they are excited to be part of the community, and they're willing to make themselves available should anybody have any questions.
Okay. Is that all?
That's it.
Michael?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So Commissioner Watkins is not feeling 100% tonight, so I'm going to help her out with this. So there has been some ongoing concerns, as you are aware, Mr. Cross, and that you did actually answer some questions that were emailed today, and I forwarded those questions. But I think that there are still some concerns. Ms. Watkins, do you want to say anything right now, or should I bring over Nicole?
I'm sorry.
Show me. Okay.
Please bring Nicole.
Okay. So, Commissioner McCurdy, could you bring over Nicole Shea?
Yeah.
Nicole.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hi, sorry, I'm actually on H Street right now, so apologies if you hear background noise. So, yeah, some of the neighbors have some concerns, but I actually think that with some of the clarifying information that was offered today, once neighbors have the opportunity to review it, and once we can talk with the owners of 1613, which I'm hoping to do, I'm hoping to get that set up in the next, like next week if possible. If not by early the following week. I do believe there's the potential for those concerns to be resolved. but because some of the issue that was on the permit that's related to the BZA request was confusing and kind of misleading, which I don't think is a factor of what the architect put together, but I think sort of like what was entered in as the brief of the description. Neighbors do not feel like they have the information that they need to make the request. And one way of reading it makes it sound like there's already a basement there or cellar when there's not. And then also that there's the potential for 3 stories to be added instead of 2. So we would very much like clarity around that before we can put our support behind this. As it is, we have concerns, but we also think that there is a path forward as well. And then just for some background, we have a lot of other ongoing development in our neighborhood, particularly the alley between Q Street and Warner and Fifth Street and New Jersey, where there's just really suboptimal development that's happening, that's lent itself to a lot of crime in the area, and even a young couple with a baby camping in the backyard of one of the places on Warner. So we ask that a vote of support not happen today, to give us the opportunity to connect with the owners, and if the project manager and architects want to be a part of that too. But we'd like to do that, you know, quickly, understanding that this has been going on for a while, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, do apologize for any confusion that the description might have caused. The 3-story addition is actually stated as a 3-story rear addition. And we are stating that we're adding a 3rd story, which it sounds like you're aware of at this point. We did reach out to the Office of Zoning about the existing the 2-story over cellar comment to make sure that gets cleaned up. Do acknowledge that that is a little misleading. However, as noted in my email earlier, the cellar portion is not actually an area of relief we're seeking here. That's a matter of right portion pursued under the building permit.
Yeah, and that oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that we understand, but you know, as neighbors and members of the community looking at the information about the permits that would happen affects people's assessment of the zoning variance requests as well. And so therefore having that corrected and having people understand that the totality of the project involves digging out a cellar, not an existing one. And in addition to this, particularly with homes that are so old, and thinking about that, you know, we just feel that it's important to have the full picture, reflect things accurately, so that folks can confidently lend support to something that they currently have concerns about.
Certainly understood, and we're in the process of trying to clean that up. I guess in terms of the no action tonight, we have been at this a while, and we have a hearing date of September 25th, I believe. And so if it is not voted on tonight, that would effectively postpone our BZA hearing to the next available date, which could be months. So we would greatly appreciate if there could be some vote tonight, but don't know exactly how we can, you know, what we might be able to offer to gain your confidence that these are members of your community who are going to be longtime members of your community, and so they're not going anywhere, and they're here to meet with you throughout the process.
So, Mr. Cross, let me read an email that we received. Actually, I have 2 emails, and this is from Joseph here. To Ms. Hawkins and myself, the people who have asked for the building permit at 1613 Fifth Street that we should not approve this tonight. They said they have lied on their application. They list that they intend to expand a cellar, which they do not have. The ANC should not support approving this, he says permit zoning, where the applicant has lied. If they lied about the simple fact, then what else have they lied about? I support building and owners occupants and having the right to expand their houses, but only when it's done in an open and honest process. Let them restart their application process again and be honest about it. Then they can be approved. The ANC or support, we support. The ANC should not be supporting applications where people falsify information. And I've got another one. So we have here, let's see here. We understand this is from Adrian Rose. We understand that 1613 5th Street Northwest pop-up is scheduled for a vote tonight. Joe and I are unable to attend the meeting, so we wanted to email you our concerns. Because there has been insufficient information provided to neighbors regarding this construction, we think it is premature to vote to approve this application. Further, because it appears that the permit application is deceptive and or misleading with its description of the property containing an existing cellar, we have concerns about the ability to trust information provided by the homeowner and applicant. I think it is plausible that our concerns may be assuaged but because inadequate information has been provided in advance of the meeting, we cannot provide our support at this time. Unless the vote is delayed in order to provide further accurate and honest information, we encourage you to oppose the application. So here's my opinion. So we can, and with Miss Watkins here, we can simply vote no, right, to not support what you need for the law occupancy and all that. If this is upsetting to the community, so you can do that, and you can still go to your hearing. We are advisory. They can still move forward at the BZA, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I correct in that?
Kind of. I have no
Kind of.
intention of going over the ANC. You know, we've been in front of you for months. I have notes in front of me that show every previous meeting here had no opposition. And first and foremost, we had no intention of lying on any application. There is a typo in the description, but all drawings show the work accurately. We have presented these to this ANC at the Zoning Commission and to a forum just like this before. And they all are showing accurate information. And so I completely deny that there is any sort of malfeasance here. This is a completely above board project, and we're here to work with you. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but how also respecting my clients, you know, rights as homeowners who've been in this process now for potentially 5 months.
So if Nicole and Commissioner Watkins can clarify what happened earlier this evening with someone talked to the owner, Nicole, Ms. Watkins.
Hi, it's Nicole. I talked to the owners this morning and I shared with them some of the concerns. And I also shared that I do think that we can, you know, that people can potentially be on board. And I don't think there was any malfeasance either. I want to go on the record and say that, but I do think that there is, I don't know, it's almost like when somebody writes a headline from an article and it just ends up sort of not saying accurately what's in the article. I don't think it was anything that was intentional. And it may actually have been somebody in one of the city offices who wrote something, but it has caused confusion and concern with community members. So, you know, and then the other thing I will share is that the folks that live at you're 1613, I want to say it's 1611. The owners there, I don't believe received the hearing notice, but I have been in communication with them about that. So there's just some other stuff too. So, you know, I don't know that folks want this voted against today. I will say folks don't feel ready to lend their support to it being voted yes.
But here, let me stop you. So this is tonight. All we're gonna, it's for us. It's we have to do something tonight because their hearing is on the 25th.
All right, well then I guess vote no, I guess is what I would ask. But then I would like to set up a meeting with the owners and the residents who have concerns, because we may have a situation which, you know, next week or by early next week, we can feel that we have the clarity that we need to then write a letter that says, you know, what we are in support of, or clarify for them what our concerns are that we want further clarified.
Okay, so what the commission will do tonight is, okay, with Ms. Watkins, I got to ask Ms. Watkins to speak here, whether it's yes or no, that is what we will say. We will not do anything after this point. So if the community wants to then go to that hearing or write the Board of Zoning Adjustment, they can say yes or no, or whatever they want to say. But tonight, what we will write will be what stands.
Well, I would ask that that reflect the concerns that the community has raised, particularly from
Yeah.
people who have shared their concerns and are not here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would like to just make sure we go on record too, that there was confusion about whether or not this was actually going to be on the agenda, and it didn't physically appear on the, or I guess digitally appear on the agenda until sometime after 6:30 a.m. this morning. I don't know what time because I was at work, but I did make several email attempts, and the project manager from the architecture or design firm also asked about whether or not it would be on the agenda, and it did not appear on the agenda until some point today. And there was quite a bit of communication, miscommunication and confusion rather. And a lot of the energy of neighbors talking about this week went into if it was even on the agenda, because the closest thing to it being on the agenda said 1615 Fifth Street and a historic preservation something, which also just added a whole new layer of distraction in terms of meaningful conversation with the neighbors, because we thought, are we in some historic district we didn't know about? Is this about a church? Is this about 1615? It doesn't seem like either of those things are related to 1613. So with that level of confusion and miscommunication as well, I really think that needs to be factored into this.
Okay,
Because I
so
think,
let me explain, Nicole, let me explain how that works. So when I send out the draft agenda, every commissioner is allowed, and I apologized earlier in this meeting and to you this morning about my typing it wrong completely. It is, I take the bullet for that. But each commissioner gets to see a draft agenda and gets to comment on it. There was not a comment from Commissioner Watkins. And then, so because I did actually correct it, unfortunately, it didn't get put up on the website, and I apologize for that profusely, and I did email you back. But that said, let us move forward, and I have learned my lesson.
Just to clarify, you emailed back that there was a mistake.
Yes.
Or something to that effect, and I asked what it was and what was going to be in there, and I didn't hear back. So I did not have the opportunity. Well, I just want to make sure we go on record with this, because there was not the opportunity to understand what the agenda actually should have said to communicate it to neighbors until sometime, I guess, after 8:30 a.m. today. So that wasn't able to be communicated to anyone beyond me until much later in the day. And I will just say, I worry that we would needlessly make this a contentious process if there's a vote that's moved forward with today. And I believe that that's not necessary. I think that with the clarified communication and the opportunity to talk to neighbors about, you know, these things were miscommunicated, but this is what it is, and this aligns with what was in the actual request. I think that's important. Otherwise, we could create even more distraction around this and continued rancor, which is I tend to think would not be necessary.
Okay, agree. So, but that said, what the applicant is asking for is about lot occupancy and that special roof thing, which is apparently irrelevant now, right, Mr. Cross? We think. So, Commissioner Watkins, what would you like this is your call. What would you like the commissioner to do?
In light of all of the concerns and the discussion that has been going on about this property, nobody's trying to stop them from developing on their property, building on their property. But in light of the surrounding neighbors, the constituents, I don't feel that I can support moving forward with it right now. I don't know how, if we can have a meeting quickly next week, or how it would impact them going before the zoning commission, the BZA next on the 25th. And if everything is okay by then, I don't see why we couldn't send a letter of support. I don't know if that's common, if that's something that they've done in the past. But in light of everything that's going on about this has been a lot of conversation about this piece of property.
That's right. So Commissioner
so
Watkins,
I can't move
we
forward
have to
with-
vote a certain way tonight, so.
I cannot support it, and I'm not gonna ask.
Okay, so other commissioners have concerns or questions about this? Alex?
So in order to be able to have a position that the BZA is actually going to give great weight to, we have to clearly identify the rationale for the opposition. And I'm struggling to come up with language that would allow us to do that. I mean, what I would really prefer is that the applicant agree to have the BZA postpone the hearing of the case by a month, so that we have the opportunity to have these neighbors interact with their neighbor, the property owner, and then come back to the commission so that we can actually issue a formal opinion that makes sense. Because right now, there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of poor communication, and I don't think that the property owner is well served by going to the BZA with a chaotic set of circumstances, potentially a negative ANC letter, and potential opposition from neighbors, when this could all be a molehill instead of a mountain that could be easily addressed and resolved to the satisfaction of the neighbors, given some additional time. Those are my thoughts.
So Mr. Cross, is your, the owner, are you willing to do that then, to go back to the BZA?
Yeah, I mean, we want to get the ANC support. It is frustrating that we have been in front of this ANC for so many months, and for this opposition to come up at this late hour. It unfortunately may postpone it longer than 1 month, but we want the ANC support, and I agree with these other comments that I don't think this project needs to be one that's contentious. I think that this should be a project that is amicably received between neighbors, and that's where we want to get it.
Okay,
Motion to table.
yep. Okay, do I have a second on that? Okay, Commissioner Barry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay. Commissioner Watkins? Commissioner Watkins?
I thought I said aye.
Okay, aye, okay. Motion passes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay, so here we have 432 M Street. This is in my area. This is the Soul Saving Station. There is Ronnie. Or Abdul, I'm sorry, Abdullah too. Okay. Okay, everyone, this is in my area. This is
FPM
what?
person? There's
No,
another.
just,
Same.
oh,
as
Sam, I'm
David.
sorry, the owner's here, the
Yes,
owner's here,
owner,
yeah.
Yes, if you can let him in, please. Thank you.
I wasn't expecting him. Okay. So this is historic property in my neighborhood on M Street. This is the current Soul Saving Station, which is potentially going to be sold to Sam here. It is not sold yet, but they are here to present to us, because they are going before historic. And go ahead, Ronnie, you can, the floor is yours. You can throw up the
Thank you very
presentation.
much, and good evening, everyone. Abdullah, can you put the building up? Thanks. All right, thank you. So we presented yesterday evening with the ANC Historic Preservation and Development Committee, and they voted to that this project was well within their purview of agreement. So we've been working very diligently to meet with HPO and the ANC to figure out what's the best path forward to develop this building. And so I'm going to present the scheme that includes HPO comments and ANC comments from the last few months. So next slide. So I'm assuming most people are familiar with the area and the building location. The map in the upper right-hand corner shows 1919 version of the site where multiple buildings had rear additions, rear elements in the back. So this is a historic element in the back, that there's been buildings added to these buildings from out the history. And of course, next door right now, there's a large addition to several of the houses that are not visible from M Street, but it's 5 stories in the rear of the building. It slopes pretty steeply back down to the alley also, so we should talk about in a minute. So the other issue is that the building occurred. You can next slide, Dylan. So actually, I'll go through these elements separately. But go ahead, next slide. So the building consists of a main block, which is the historic element, and the 3 actual additions to the building in the back, which you'll see in a minute. The overall goal of our building is to add to the rear, as you see, along the alley, with a courtyard facing the property line and adjacent property. So you see a solid wall along the alley, basically the way it is now. We'd extend back a little further. There'd be a penthouse building that is 4 floors and a penthouse. The penthouse, actually, this drawing is a little older. The penthouse actually moves forward a little bit. We meet the requirement to move it forward. So we're really adding about 1,600 square feet of a footprint. We're not asking for any zoning variances or any relief. So it's a matter of right in all conditions, lot occupancy, height, all those other things. It has IZ zoning, so it has some affordable housing. It has meets all of the zoning requirements so far, and we also have parking at the rear. So this came over time meeting with the local groups and stakeholders to make sure the building had those attributes. So if you next slide. So this is the basic site plan layout. The interior is on the property line on the right. The pink part there is the existing historic building. And the addition is that sort of L-shaped building in the back with the penthouse on top. That's the actual configuration of right now. In the rear, we'll have 5 to 6 spaces. I think we can fit 3 regular size spaces and 2 small car spaces, or possibly 2 regular spaces and 4 small car spaces. I think we can, without necessarily getting zoning, PDRM from zoning, that we probably don't have any requirement for parking based on being a historic building and the addition size and the grandfathering of the parking. But ANC had asked us to provide as much parking as possible, so we're showing the 6 spaces, and that's the goal at this point, to put 5 to 6 spaces in there. So next slide. The existing building is 2.5 stories, but it's about a 15-foot first floor, so it looks much taller. But the adjacent buildings in the neighborhood are all 2 to 4 stories. Basically, this is the context of the area. This is the historic district there. And next slide. So it's basically it faces a much taller aspect of buildings in the rear. So this is the alley. Look, upper left hand corner is the alley looking at the building, about a 3-story building, residence building on the right side. It's a little taller, kind of tall floors on that building. So it's a little taller than our building. The rear bottom right-hand side is looking at it from the rear, the same alley looking at it from the rear, the back of our building there. And again, those larger 5-story additions on the rear to the right in the bottom right-hand corner. And that's the basic, plan of the area. You see the large buildings across, the M Street is in front of the building. You see the larger building on Brown's Court in the rear. There's some larger apartment buildings back there. So next slide. So again, the context here, just some more shots. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with the area, but this, again, most of the buildings there are 3 to 4 stories, actually 2 to 4 stories along M Street, variety of sizes, shapes, and styles. Our building, nice detailing on it, and that'll be part of the restoration, is to restore the cornice. A number of windows have been blocked up and none of them have the original windows. We're putting back 2/2 wood windows back in all the original openings. So that's part of the restoration activity we talked to HPO about. So we did a flag test across M Street, which we'll see how that worked out in a minute. Our cornice line extends out about 24 inches in front of the face of the building. So that gives us a little extra height block area there, but you'll see how that works in a minute too. So next slide. Again, more context, just showing the kind of development that's at the rear here that will be right beside actually. So next slide. So this is the existing building. So the existing building has a dog leg in 3 stages in the rear, which we'll see in a minute. But the massing is this bottom left-hand corner there. You see basically the shape of our building, the basic size that relates to the buildings on the left there that had additions in the back. And those buildings in the back on the left are totally not visible from the main M Street, and ours wouldn't be either if the alley wasn't there. So and we talked to HP about that. They didn't seem to have as much trouble with that as wanting to push the mass to the back. So we did. That's one of the go arounds we went to, is to push the mass further to the back, and we'll see that also. Next slide. So just to be sure about the amount of demolition, we went to HPO to get some comments on this. The original mass, that lighter orange piece there, is the original historic building. There was a initial piece, that first dog leg, addition 1, then there was addition 2, and the third addition was the addition of the sanctuary on the inner side of the property line. And so all 3 of those, we talked about removing those to accomplish the new addition, and HPO thought that was a reasonable idea. So next slide. So the basic layout, obviously the units need to be worked out in more detail. Cellar floor will be completely excavated. The building has a cellar throughout most of the length, but some of the areas of the building aren't fully excavated. There's a couple areas on the property line side that are not completely dug out. Their ceiling's a little lower, but we're going to add probably another 1 foot or 2 to the basement area, and so the basement level and the first floor will match up in floor. That's one of our attempts here to make sure they match up. The first floor height to the second floor at the main sanctuary building, we see unit 1 and unit 2 is about 14-15 feet tall. So we'll not match up with that. Our addition will be about 10 feet or so. So the second floor of the new addition will be about 10 feet or so. And our stair kind of rotates around inside there and allows us to get from one level to the other. So we sort of accomplished that with a sort of some stair manipulations. And the idea is, being 4 stories, it has 2 means of egress. And you see the cellar level has egress out the front. And whether we need egress out the back, we'll have an areaway in the back. Whether we have any actual egress from those units without using the stair, we're still working on that design. So first floor, you'll come in M Street just where you would in the building right now. So you see the passage right through. So there'll be no adjustment to that. You come in the front door and you go to either the 3 units on this level. The courtyard you see there has windows on it. An elevator in the center there. So next slide. So again, basically the front, this is the second floor of the main building on the left, the addition on the right, which could be 1 or 2 units there. Units are a little small, but they're and so the owner will decide how many units it is, but probably no more than 14 altogether. So possibly either 15 with the small units or 14 with the units we have shown in this scheme. So next slide. And again, so the 4th floor is actually the top floor for zoning and for building code purposes. The penthouse is allowed under this type of zoning to be 10 feet taller than the roof. and it allows either unit 13 or 14. As you see, we probably put it as unit 13 to have a second floor. So it'll be one unit, perhaps two, that has a duplex effect to it. So that's the idea, is that fifth floor is actually that penthouse element there. So next slide. The building is actually set back. All of our the 4-story component starts 41 feet back from the rear of the existing building, goes up 4 stories, and then the penthouse part is 62 feet back, so it's way back from M Street. So what you see if you were 20 feet in the air on the left there is the upper part of the building, with the left side being the 4th floor and the penthouse, and the right side being the 4th floor connector, the actual circulation space, stairs and elevator. And this is the rear on the right there. So you'll see that pretty much matches the size of the buildings on the right. So next slide. And again, this is the alley view. Right now, we're proposing that the new building have a different brick. It doesn't have to be brown to red. It could be a different kind of red brick. But we would end the historic building with a new, with perhaps but compatible brick, and show new. And HPO in the past, last few times we've gone reform, had wanted to differentiate the two rather than try to make them look the same. So we've gone with that premise in this regard. You can see the main block of the building remains the same. So the main block would get 2/2 windows installed to match the historic character. We're proposing a modern window, perhaps aluminum, in the brick and metal panel building on the right, the new addition. And the right image is within the courtyard. If you were standing with your back to the adjacent property looking at our building, you see this in the courtyard. So that's what you see there. So next slide. And you see we're within the 50-foot height at the 4-foot level. So the flag test, we proposed a scheme, several schemes, about the 4th scheme really, where we were pressing up against that. But the way the connector works at this point, we're way back from the 16-foot flag height. We did a flag test where we put a post up, right back at the building where the gutter is in the rear, and 16 foot was not visible, but we'll be set back from that. So we're not proposing any special activity on the roof that will be visible from this elevation. And you see the penthouse is even further back than that. So that element is not visible either. So next slide. And this is a better view of that. This is the existing at the top, and this is the addition, the way it would work out. So next slide. So this is this is the axon and massing. So I showed you the existing building elevations from M Street, so I can show you these existing elevations, these new elevations from M Street. So the building will look exactly the same from directly across the street. You would not see our work at all. Same way you can't see it in the buildings to the left. And so the massing remains relatively the same as compared to the 3-story building on the right. Looking down the alley, of course, you do see our massing in the back. You'll see, I passed on it pretty quickly, but if you look back down the alley right now, you see large buildings behind there through the alley as if they're, across the street. And we sort of think the mass of our building will take on that aspect, that it is way back from the building and not in the view shed of someone walking down M Street. That's the goal. So Abdullah, can you make the axons a little larger so we can see the aspects of that? So the upper right-hand one shows the potential, the new building will have potentially a green roof. We have some stormwater issues we have to deal with. Make that a little bit bigger on the right. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. You can get rid of the multiple ones on the left if you want. So this is the kind of aspect it would take on. You can see the existing 3-story apartment building that's across the alley. So we think this party really has a much better relationship to the street and to the neighbors, be a good neighbor for a new residential building in the area. So we'd like to get your comments and your support for the project. So thank you.
Okay. Great. Well, we appreciate you coming before us and coming before us last night. And I think it's, I put it back up on my social media today, and I had done that earlier in the summer. And of course, the ongoing comment was the parking. So
I understand.
But I have to respond to them tonight. but there is going to be four to six parking spaces. And I think you did a nice job correcting and putting in the courtyard into the interior. And so I hope, again, the potential owner is on, so I hope that it does go through. But commissioners, any questions about this at all? Good comments? Nothing? No? Oh, Alex, go ahead.
So at last night's meeting, there was a request which was accepted by the developer that a plaque explaining the history of the building, especially the Soul Saving Station Church, be commissioned and installed at their expense. And again, they did agree to do that. So whatever action we do take should reflect that recommendation.
Yes.
And overall, this is I believe will be a handsome addition to the streetscape in the historic district, which will clearly delineate differentiate between the historic fabric and the new construction, as the board prefers.
Ms. Nagle, you're
Yeah,
still
so
muted.
I
Okay, sorry,
just
sorry.
have a request for the owner
Sorry.
that, Sam, that you keep in touch with me if this does go through.
Sure. I'll do that.
Because sometimes I'm just, well, whatever, don't tell Commissioner Niagara, and then we're left guessing.
No
So,
problem.
go ahead, Commissioner Bear.
Is any of this affordable housing?
It is IZ. There's a component of it is, yes, to get the additional units. Yes. Anything above 10 units, there's requirements. So.
Okay.
But if you could clarify, same for the commissioners, we don't know, because you haven't decided whether it's going to be, you said, well, maybe you did. So luxury apartments, what did you, or you don't really kind of know officially yet?
Yeah, we don't know that if it's going to be for sale or for rent. But in both components, we will have a ID component. 10% of the units will be ID units, affordable housing.
So for 14 units, that's
It's 1 unit. Right?
1 unit, right?
Anything
Ronnie?
below 1.5, I think, is 1. Yeah.
Yeah, they go by square footage, so
Okay.
at least we have to give 10% of square
And these are
footage.
small units, as we talked about yesterday.
I mean, if they do go for sale, maybe they'll be they'll combine more than 1 unit into one space into a unit. But that depends on how it works out. So that's Same's area of development concern. So we'll work it out.
Okay. All right. Any comments from the audience? Please raise your virtual hand about this. No? Okay. We do the motion here. I move that ANC 2G support the application for 432 M Street Northwest, and also including that they put a historic placard on there, and that we communicate the support to the Historic Preservation Review Board.
Seconded.
Do you have a second? Okay, Alex seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. All right, thank you both.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a great evening.
And keep in touch.
Okay.
Will do.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Okay. Let's see. Now we've got this is an Alex there, 1424 10th Street. So this is also for the Historic Preservation Review Board. And this is Felipe. Hi.
Yeah. So this applicant has a very modest addition proposed. The Historic Preservation Review Board gave preliminary consideration to this previously. They had some concerns about some materials that had subsequently been resolved. I think that this will be a handsome addition to the historic district, which will clearly delineate the differences between the historic fabric and the new building. So that, Felipe, please make your presentation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Felipe Silva. I am the owner of the property as well as the architect. And I'm seeking to renovate the property and as well do as an addition to it. A side addition and then a rear addition to the dog leg. So for context, the two-story brick structure is historic and will remain as is. We will do interior renovation. And then this side addition right here, which is one story, is non-historic. Let me just go back to the back so because that's easier to see. So we're requesting approval to demolish this one-story side addition that's non-historic and do a two-story side addition that will be offset or set back from the property line so that it delineates from the historic facade. And then on the back, we are requesting approval to infill that dog leg, as well as doing a rooftop. The rooftop, actually none of the new features except that front wall that we're doing on the side addition will be visible from the street. We have done the flag test and it's not visible from the street. We will keep the materials of the historic portion as is. We will paint it. It needs some fixing to the bricks. And then for the side addition, the two-story side addition, we're proposing brick as well because to match the brick that is historic, but delineated, we will make it a darker color. We haven't finalized the color yet, but for now we're showing black. And then in the rear, for the dog leg, we're planning on doing a metal panel for the facade. Just some renderings from the front of the house, from across the street. Here you can see the existing one-story that will be demolished and replaced by a two-story addition on the side. This is a view from 10th and P Street. You can see that the setback really allows this void to read and then allows the historic part to stay as is. This is a view from the other outside. Again, the setback on that new addition. A view at the back of the infill. And then this is an overall view from above, so you can see that setback portion and the roof deck. And then in the back here, you have the dog leg. And that was my last slide.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, Alex, anything else to comment?
No, as I said, although it is I believe a well-designed addition, it is a modest one. It does not cause any issues related to loss of light and air to adjacent property owners. As a result, fit in well to neighborhood and the block.
Okay, commissioners have any other questions concerning this? No. Anyone from the community side? Ms. Watkins? Okay, anyone from the community side have any questions about this? No? All right, Alex, you want to go ahead and make the motion?
Certainly. I move that ANC 2G support the project for an addition to and the restoration of the property at 1424 10th Street Northwest, and that we report that support to the Historic Preservation Review.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Watkins?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, take care. Be safe. Okay, so now we have, this is in my area also, this is our first medical cannabis shop. We have VDC and Katia's here. Jones. Great. Wait, did I put that? Let me see, wait. Katia. Hi. Oh, Mark. Okay, Mark's here too. Hi, Mark. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Hi, Mark. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good.
I think Katia, go ahead and unmute yourself. Katia, there you go. So this is our first medical cannabis shop in 2G06, and where this is located is on 7th Street in this little wedge of a space up on the second floor. at 1015 and a half 7th Street. And Katia and Mark, if you want to just kind of give a little brief presentation about who you guys are and the shop.
Oh, sure, sure. Well, as you all know, we are BDC. Our shop is located, will be located on 7th Street, 1015 and a half 7th Street. I myself and Mark have been in this industry for over about 8 years now. I built out a 46,000 square feet warehouse in Michigan and also in Colorado. And now we are here hopefully building out this retail store in your ward. Our background is Viola. Viola is a medical marijuana brand owned by Al Harrington. And so now Mark and I have been working with Al for over 10 years in this space. And so now hopefully we can bring our expertise into the DC area.
Okay, Mark, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so Viola was created in 2011. It was created based off of Al Harrington's grandmother. She suffered from a lot of medical conditions. During the time he was playing for Denver when it first went legal, and he discovered that medical marijuana helped glaucoma. So when his grandmother came to see him and she had all these medications, he had read about medical marijuana helping glaucoma patients. So when she first he told her, she was like, well, boy, I'm not smoking no reefer. And he was like, well, grandma, I want you to, you know, if you consider it, maybe try it. So it took her about 2 days. Finally, you know, she tried it. He walked downstairs and she was crying. And when he asked her, grandma, why are you crying? She said, because I haven't been able to read my Bible in 2 years. So he then went on and invested in medical marijuana. Here we are 13 years later with 5 retail shops. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. So when I first became and got with Al, because what I do is I'm an entertainment marketing and branding. So I work with people like Kevin Hart right now, Usher, and many other people. So when I became a part of Viola, my first thing was, well, I want to bring one to my hometown, D.C. So now here we are now. I've invested into this new retail spot. Kotia is on board. She has a lot of experience from running retail shops and cultivations as well. So we plan to do a lot of stuff in the community as we have done in the last 13 years. You can read about it. We invested to a lot of businesses. With us in this ward, we plan to do community drives, coat drives, Thanksgiving drives. I have a list of a lot of things. If you guys, if anyone, you know, wants to contact me to ask what we have coming up as far as community drives, I'm real involved in the community. I have after school programs with the Washington Wizards. So we will definitely be a big part of the community as well.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna flash the settlement agreement on the screen here. Okay, and forgive it. This is what continue. So I got to clean it up, and then we'll. Yes, the printer's downstairs. Anyway, so the concern was earlier about the hours, but that has been clarified. It is no longer in the city till 9 p.m. It is now 11 p.m. So you have Commissioner McCarty and I to thank because we corrected ABCA. So on their website. So now that is great. So that's going to be corrected. And what I'm going to do then is just keep your signature page. Right. And then I will then sign that. But this is the standard settlement agreement that Commissioner McCarty has used. But I need to ask you if you have your security plan.
Yes, we do have a security plan, and that also had to be submitted with our application.
Okay, very good. And then just so Mark and Katia were very nice. They, Katia at least met Eric. I don't think Mark, you didn't, right? Chef Eric? No, I think just Katia. To open up the establishment, if anyone would come, Chef Eric, the neighbor next door, was the only one who came. And it was openly discussed. We talked about optics, right? What is this gonna look like? Let's just how it is, right? Because it is wedged between Flirt Bar and Kinship. And are there going to be people on the street? We don't know. Well, people go upstairs, and they have assured me about security. I believe that you will have an open dialogue with Kinship and Flirt, if anything.
Yes.
Yes. And
Open door. We're very transparent. If they have
Okay.
issues, they can come directly to myself and Mark. And we can sit down, have conversations, and work whatever the issue is, we can work it out. We're neighbors. We're going to be neighbors. So we want to work with our neighbors.
Okay. Because I'm very pro-business, as I explained to you, and all the other the restaurants and everyone else in 655 is aware of. So I want everyone to be successful, but I want us to be good neighbors, because that block before Kinship and anyone else has been there, that block, Frankie, was a nightmare that I had to deal with, right? As Tony's shaking his head. So I don't need to go back to that. I love great neighbors and I love businesses that make money. So I encourage the communication. Any questions from the commissioners at all? Alex?
So on the issue of optics, many of the marijuana retailers in our neighborhood have some rather aggressive LED signage, LED strips running around all their windows, very garish, not what I think that we're expecting to see on the 1000 block of 7th Street, especially right next door to such a renowned Michelin-starred establishment as Kinship and Metier. So can you explain to us what people will see when they come to the block to patronize you?
Yes.
So they
what
will
they
see
will
it.
see.
I got
go
it,
ahead.
Cotia. So they will
Okay.
see it just a V signage, and then we do have one sign that says "Come say hi." That's all they will see.
And Commissioner Nigro, I think
I can't
sent
show
you
it.
that.
I have it, but I
Yes.
can't show it. We can't see. Can you see that? It's a purple V with a green outlining. It's very plain, actually.
Yeah. And then inside the window, like it says, "Come say hi." That's the only signage we have.
That's it.
We are very, very, I would say, when it comes
Very classy, very
Yeah.
professional. And I would want, Stephen, you've been to the place already. Commissioner Nigro has also toured the place. I invite everyone on here, please come take a walk through. You can see it for yourself. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And all our establishments throughout the country is very upscaled. I cater to everyone, but very upscale, very classy. So I definitely invite everyone to come and see. Also, if you go on one of our sites, you'll also see that we are also just opening. We will be marked right on the 21st, having a grand opening at one of the stores in Hoboken, New Jersey on Washington Street. So you can go online and you can see that also. We cater to our customers. I would say we're more of a luxury brand than anything. We are definitely a luxury brand. So you won't see trash. You won't see people hanging around. You come in, you purchase, you leave. That has been our motto in all our stores. Like Mark said earlier, we do have very high-end clients that will be coming in. And, on a lot of events that we want everyone to be involved in. So you really get to see our operation and how we operate. Security, we have it all.
When I emphasize the security, just because you guys are on 7th Street and there's been concerns, to say the least, there. Okay, Commissioner McCarty.
I just want to say thank you for your commitment to community, and that I'm going to hold you to it. We've got Kennedy Rec Center and lots of other places in this neighborhood who could really benefit from the type of relationships you have, the marketing, the events that you're talking about hosting. And so please partner with us, connect with us. We can help you make sure that you get connected with any of the DC government agencies that can help you host these events and make these events truly inclusive and to the betterment of our community. So I hear you, and I'll be calling you about these events.
Yes,
Most
please
definitely,
do.
Stephen. Open line, most definitely.
Yes.
We'll be talking very soon. Once we get open, we plan to do our first community event within the first 30 days.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the community? Please press, raise your virtual hand or press *9 if you're on the phone. Nope. Okay. Let me make the motion here. And I'll have that corrected to you, and then I'll sign it, all right? And then
Okay,
transmit it
thank
with the
you.
letter. Okay. I move that ANC 2G support the application for the medical cannabis license for VDC located at 1015.5 7th Street Northwest. And also that we support the settlement agreement, and this information is transmitted to ABCA.
Second.
Alex Pedro seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you.
Thanks for your patience. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay. Oh, gosh, and now we have Jake's Tavern. I feel like we've talked about Jake's Tavern about 3 times this year. Is that right?
There's a lot of stuff going on. So there should be a representative. Unfortunately, I don't believe that that the owner Todd Siu is available. He had a family commitment, although he was going to try to join us later. But we should have a representative from the vendor for the game of skill. So I think they raised their hand. Tara Spence.
Miss Spence.
So yeah, we have had several presentations by Jake's Tavern. Which is located at 1606 7th Street Northwest this year, initially related to potential zoning relief that was needed in order to be able to convert the second floor into additional space for the restaurant, which subsequently turned out to not be necessary. And then subsequently, they needed to get our support to extend their ABRA license, ABCA license to the second floor, which is now in the process of being built out. And then, so now we have a request for a substantial change to their license, which would allow them to have a game of skill. Obviously, this commission and its predecessor commission have dealt with a number of games of chance and geo-fenced, sports gaming, etc. So this is neither of those. It's a different category and a different endorsement. But we'll ask Tara to actually explain how this game of skill will work. But this substantial change will not have any impact on hours of operation or any of the existing endorsements on the license. So Tara, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your firm and explain how this particular game of skill will operate.
Sure. My name is Tara Spence, and I work for Pacematic, which is a company based in Atlanta. We have a local distributor, Entertainment Experts, who's been doing business in DC continually since 1948. We formed a relationship with the lottery and the mayor's office back in 2019, and we've been putting our games of skill into the DC market. Basically, it's a video game. Just like when you played Asteroids or you played Pac-Man back in the day, imagine if you could win a cash prize in the outcome of your game. This is basically a tic-tac-toe game where you have the ability to make a character wild, and you can make an advantageous match and you could win. There's also sort of like a Simon Says game where the colors light up and you follow the colors. And basically it's a video game that enables you to win a cash prize if you play skillfully and well. The prizes are typically small, somewhere in the area of $20 to $60. But what we find is that the money stays in the venue. So people may buy around, may leave a little bit of a better tip, might have that hamburger they wouldn't have had had they not played the game. It's for entertainment purposes. They're fun. We've got about 50 of them out in the district. We've been operating without a problem, like I said, since 2019. We are regulated by the lottery. And that's it. I guess I can answer any questions you might have.
So specifically explain how the payouts will be handled.
So we have a machine called a ticket redemption terminal, which is similar to an ATM. So when you play the game, you press a button and a ticket comes out, and then you go over to the ticket redemption terminal and you scan your ticket and it pays you the cash. So nobody in the venue handles the cash. When the machines are loaded with cash, there's a security guard that comes with an employee of Entertainment Experts. It's all very safe, very contained. But the bar doesn't handle the money at all. There's no, really not a lot of opportunity for theft or for any sorts of trouble. And part of the lottery regulation is that there's surveillance cameras on the games at all times. So that whole area is under surveillance. The lottery can monitor at any time.
In my understanding that the average payout is about $40.
Yeah, somewhere between 20 and 60, depending on how good you are at the game.
So we're not talking about something that's going to be an attractive nuisance that someone's going to be, mugged, for their winnings.
No, probably not.
So in our neighborhood, not in our single ANC, but in ANC 1B to the north, Solly's over at 11th and U has this particular game of skill, and they report that they have had no incidents. And my understanding is that there have been no crimes associated with any of the installations across the city.
Yeah, and like I said, it's been about 5 years now that we've been doing business in DC. We haven't had a problem yet. So knock on wood, that continues.
Okay, so the committee did meet last night, and we heard from Mr. Siuba, and the committee did vote to support the request for a substantial change to allow the games of skill to be offered.
Any concerns from the other commissioners about this? Nope. Anyone from the audience have any concerns? Nope. All right, Alex.
Right, I move that ANC2G support the application for a substantial change to the alcohol license for Jake's Tavern, Class C Tavern license at 1606 7th Street Northwest to allow the Edge District of Skill game by Pace-O-Matic to be offered with a maximum of 5 consoles. And that we report that support to APCA and APCA. I guess APCA and the ANC, sorry.
And the what? Who else is it?
And the ABC board.
Okay. Okay, and who have a second?
Second.
Tony seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Watkins?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for zooming in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is gonna be, next one's gonna be very brief, and let me explain it. I added it to the agenda. This is a, that we write a letter to Councilmember Pinto asking her to support us and the community, that she write a letter to the Board of Zoning Adjustment in support of the denial that the Department of General Services has not received that special exception release. And why I'm asking for this very specifically is that a letter from a council member is very powerful. Right now, even though people are reaching out to Councilmember Pinto and Councilmember Allen, they are for the project, right? No matter how they spin it, right? They are for the project. So I would just like this just to say another thing. Please support us. Comments? Concerns? Any objections? Go ahead. No? Okay. Because here's what we're working on, to be honest. So today there was a flurry of emails with the Department of Justice with Superior Court about if they're involved with the release of detainees. They said no. The Department of Corrections said yes. It goes on, and we do not have a clear answer. And we are going to get a clear answer. And I have been in communication with the criminal defense lawyer too. We're going to get a clear answer, okay? Because we are not going to tolerate guessing. Go ahead.
I thought that she was clear that she supported it, though. I mean, us asking for the letter, you know, I mean,
No.
I mean, she might not be
I mean,
clear.
supports.
Like,
You mean supports us or supports the building?
well, she doesn't want us to be unhappy about it, but it seems like she has supported it because she hasn't come out and said
Yes,
no.
that's correct. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So she's come out with this condition stuff where it is the sound, and if no one gets released, well, people are going to be released from there, and that's a concern. Even though I said you got to get a lawyer. I've talked to a lawyer. If there's so many people are dancing around this topic, we're not dancing around. What is the legal ramifications of people being released, or can they? You just can't put some person in a bus. I have asked this. We are just finding out an answer, and I've also involved the marshal's office too. So we're finding out an answer because I can't take it anymore. My life. All right. So is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I move that ANC.
Really
Yes.
quick,
Yes.
we have an anonymous attendee that just said, basically, could you give a little bit more background on give your 30-second 501 New York Avenue pitch?
So in March of 2023, we found out about the central cell block being relocated to 501 New York Avenue. We were never going to be told, and we were not supposed to find out. I was the person that found out, and we have been fighting this proposed location ever since. They call it temporary. It more than likely will be permanent. It will hold up to 92 detainees. It is a 24/7 operation that will affect the adjacent constituents, the businesses, the entire intersection there, that entire block. The biggest impact will be the traffic and the noise. And if you read the transportation study that's been put out by the opposition, they downplay that. So it is, if you know that intersection, it's bad now. So that's just it's not appropriate for that location, and there are plenty of other spaces for this to be. And if this anonymous person has any questions, call me 202-236-3329. Email me, reach out. I got plenty of information. I have no problem talking about it to anyone, because I've talked about it every damn day since we found out. And that's not an exaggeration. So just to let the person know, on board on our side, not only do we have our commission, we have the 6E commission, we have the developers, we have the residents, and we would like to have Councilmember Pinto's support, because that would be very powerful, but we don't know if we're going to get it. Does that help? Does that person say anything? Anything else? Okay. Go down that rabbit hole. Okay, I move that ANC 2G write a letter to Councilmember Pinto asking her to support with a letter to the BZA to deny the Department of General Services the special exception relief needed to build the central cell block at 501 New York Avenue.
Friendly amendment that got a little convoluted here, so maybe just say to ask Councilmember Pinto to send a letter to the BZA opposing the granting of the
yes, opposing, yes, yeah.
And I'll
I
second.
accept that. Okay, Commissioner Hardy.
Second.
Okay. Alex, was it Commissioner McCarty? I'll say Commissioner McCarty. And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Watkins? Ms. Motion passes. Okay, I'll send that letter off. We'll see what happens. All right. And now, I'm sorry. I put the settlement. I apologize, Commissioner McCarty. I put that before your settlement agreement. So we have the multi-medical settlement agreement.
Awesome. Let me bring Meredith over, Meredith Kinner, who is representing Moda Medical. I will tee everyone up on this, in that this is an application for a type 1 medical cannabis manufacturer license. This is not a retail license. This business will not be open to the public. And they have graciously worked diligently to set up a settlement agreement between the ANC and Moda Medical. Also, we'll flag that we are no strangers to Meredith and the team at Moda Medical. They are actually the already approved applicants for Don Fuego on 9th Street. So we are welcoming neighbors in another variation. But to be clear, this is a medical manufacturer type 1 license that will not be open to the business, will not be open to the public. And before I let Meredith chat a little bit about the license, we did have one question about the settlement agreement, which was, it's obviously a manufacturer and they plan on making edible cannabis products. So one question from the ABCA licensing committee was if you would be using any harsh chemicals or ingredients that, you know, we need to be concerned about disposing of or being present in the community.
No, and I'd be happy to address that. And thank you, Commissioner McCarty, for working with us on this settlement agreement, as well as Don Fuegos. You've been a real pleasure to work with. And I've actually, this has been a very interesting ANC meeting. I've been tuning in. I've actually quite enjoyed the last couple presentations. So yes, Moda Medical is owned by the same owners of Don Fuego. So they're a married couple, and they are sorry they were not able to be with the ANC this evening. They are, this manufacturing facility is going to be on 9th Street, kind of almost, I guess it's not kitty corner. So the retail facility is on, I'm sorry, the retail facility is on 9th, and this facility will be on M. And so they'll be almost at like a diagonal, and that was part of the, they're actually connected. Their back areas are connected. So that's part of the what attracted my clients to this particular location as a manufacturing facility. And as Commissioner McCarty mentioned, they will be a type 1 manufacturer, which means that they will be prohibited from using any toxic chemicals or explosive gases of any sort. And it's going to be more akin to really a confectioner, right? They're really going to be making candy, or I shouldn't say candy, medical cannabis products such as edibles, tinctures. There may be pre-rolls and topicals. So things that, aside from the pre-rolls, that there's not going to be any odor associated with the production. There'll be no smoke of any sort. They're using induction burners. So there won't even be an exhaust system required like there would be for a restaurant. And so really the goal is to actually make sure that nobody in the community even knows that they're there. That is the goal, is to be as inconspicuous as possible. The only people that be allowed in facility are the registered employees and any agents of other licensees. There will be no members of the public allowed in unless they register first with, you know, a manager or employee of the facility as a visitor. So there'll be very strict procedures regarding entry. They will be open. Manufacturers are actually allowed to be open 24 hours a day. I don't think that's reasonable, and neither do my clients. So they have planned to keep the same hours as the retail facility, which is from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And deliveries will be the same, you know, no deliveries after, I think it's before 9 a.m. and after 7 p.m. We did speak with Commissioner McCarty about some beautification measures at the front entrance to the facility. And my client is actually, she's really excited to kind of discuss what that might look like in addition to the any existing landscaping, or I guess boxes that already exist there. As you all may know, they're not actually open yet. They're in the process of building out both of these facilities simultaneously. So, you know, unfortunately, there's not much to tour at this point, but certainly before they are open, we'd be happy to take any members who are interested through the manufacturing facility as well. I'm sure David would be more than happy to explain the manufacturing process in detail at the facility once they're open. And I would also add that the manufacturing facility, much like anybody who's creating a food product, there is DOH permitting required as well. So they'll have the same sort of cleanliness requirements and the same type of flooring that's required for like a back of the house in a restaurant. They just won't have that exhaust system that would be in a restaurant or another sort of food manufacturing facility potentially. And I'd be happy to answer. Oh, and I should add also the question security. They'll have the same type of security, as Don Fuego. There'll be cameras that cover, all interior and exterior areas in the facility. There'll be a vault room that stores all usable cannabis and cannabis oil that is going to go into production potentially overnight. So anything that is any unusable or usable cannabis products will be stored in that vault overnight. So the only ingredients that would be outside of the vault overnight are just the normal sort of baking and confectionery ingredients that you would find in a kitchen. And sorry, I see one of the commissioners has a question.
Yes, thank you. So just a couple of questions for you about the 902 entrance.
Sure.
So are you going to have any, what are you going to have in the windows? Because you've got windows there in 902. So, what's going to be seen through the windows, if anything?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So one of the retail, and I know that you're talking about manufacturing, one of the requirements with retail is that there are no products that are able to be seen from the street. And so certainly with this, any of the production work and the operations work will take place. You will not see any sort of operations work. I don't know if what's going to be in the front of the facility is just offices. For not offices that would be open to a potential visitor coming in, so they wouldn't have to check in. But I think my understanding is that they intend to black out to kind of smoke out the windows anyway, and have that tempered glass, that safety glass as well. So you won't be able to see any of the production.
Okay, and then the other question is about deliveries. Does 902 have the ability to have, material, equipment delivered from the rear, from the alley, or will deliveries be made from the M Street side?
They do. So they are connected to 1126 9th through that back area. So they have that same access to the alley that the 9th Street facility does. They're not going to be making deliveries though. It's likely that people will be coming to pick up. And if it is a delivery, it'll either be a transport, like a secure transport vehicle coming to pick up a delivery and then make that wholesale delivery to retailers, or a retailer coming and picking up that delivery directly. If my client wanted to make deliveries themselves as the manufacturer under the manufacturing license, they would have to obtain something called a medical cannabis transport permit. At least that's how it stands now. And they don't intend to obtain that at this time, to my knowledge. So I think you won't see much in the way of delivery traffic there.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'll also quickly for the commission that the settlement agreement does include prohibiting deliveries in the alley. I know our Shepherd Court neighbors
Yes,
well
sorry,
aware
thank you.
of the congestion and issues of illegal parking in the alley. So the settlement agreement does cover that. And as to the front of the building, aside from the windows, neighbors have also reached out with concerns. The building has been there for a bit of time and it has become somewhat blighted and overgrown with, trash and stuff. And so they have also in the settlement agreement made sure to highlight that they will provide landscaping services and make sure that that the park curb in front of the building is suitable for the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something, as I mentioned, that I think Sarah is excited about, a beautification some sort of she wants to do some sort of a box, big, the big planners there or something like that. So I think, and certainly they have an interest in keeping that area free from litter as well.
Okay. Anything else from the commissioners? Anyone who's left at our meeting, any questions about this? All 6 people? Nope. All right, Commissioner McCarty.
Okay, I move to approve the settlement agreement between Sweet Trees LLC trading as Moda Medical and ANC 2G for the medical cannabis manufacturer type 1 license at 902 M Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20001. This agreement includes key provisions addressing noise and odor suppression, trash management, and landscaping improvements. And I further move that this settlement agreement be recorded with the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration.
Seconded.
Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. It was great to
Thanks,
see you
Meredith.
again. And if anything else comes up, of course, Stephen has my information. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Good luck.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about 501 one last time. So we need to do some motions to get additional grant funds. We have been approved for the last ones that we motioned for. And then this is going to be for the next current bills that we have. We have one bill for $2,928 and then one bill for $144. And that was for when she had to sit through our shouldn't say sit through, but she's our lawyer. But the what happened in July? The motion to postpone the hearing to postpone it. That was in July. So and the prep for that and all that. So and then we have Todd Baldwin. He is our criminal defense lawyer who will be giving us an opinion about people being released and a definitive answer because he's a lawyer and he deals with the central cell block. And so the lawyers that I did communicate with, basically many of them wanted nothing to do with it because they do business with the central cell block, I found out, but they were first of all surprised and like, what the hell is it doing there? Because they're in and out of the central cell block all the time, these criminal defense lawyers. So Mr. Baldwin said he provides services, and so it could be probably anywhere between $500 to $1,000. So, any questions? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. I move that ANC 2G apply for additional expert funds from the Office of ANC for the amount of $2,928 and $144 for our legal services for 501 New York Avenue.
Second.
Stephen seconds.
Question.
Yes.
Yeah, so why do you have 2 separate amounts instead of just a total amount?
Because it's 2 invoice. I don't know how their accounting person works. Just there it is. It just came.
So, but I mean, we're asking for a grant, a total in the total amount. So,
but I had to submit it. I have to submit the invoice and everything.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
just lip. That's all I've been doing.
I mean, I would still suggest that you also include the total amount.
Okay, well, I just submit it separately because they're separate invoices. That's what I've been doing. Right.
It's just clumsy. So I'm just saying, you can say that there are 2 separate invoices totaling whatever the total is.
Okay, well, what's the total?
$3,072.
Okay. For $3,072 to the Office of ANC for this grant money for 501 New York Avenue Northwest for our current lawyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Tony seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the second motion is for, now we don't have an amount for this, other talked, but is for Mr. Todd Baldwin, he is a criminal defense attorney that we apply for grant funds for his advice for the if detainees can be released for his legal opinion about that from 501 New York Avenue. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but you should say in an amount not to exceed $1,000.
Well, I don't know this. This is the whole thing.
But you
That,
told us
that was his guess.
Housing, yeah.
He hasn't started yet.
You're asking for a grant for an undetermined amount of.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till next month, but
Yeah, because it could be more than 1,000.
it could be more than 1,000.
Mhm.
All right, never mind. Forget it. I'm just trying to. This poor guy is probably like, when I explain it, he's like, "What is going on?" So,
Okay.
are we all right, Tony? Wait till we'll be all right. He hasn't done anything yet, so okay. All right.
We have,
Mom.
I said, we have money.
Okay. Yeah, we can always pay him. So, okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, I'm not gonna say as per usual, but almost routinely, there's something that's going wrong in the finance system. The Q2 quarterly report, the totals, ending figures, and beginning figures did not match well. I had to basically do an amendment. I think Rochelle has the information about that, but for the third quarter, being that the beginning total did not match the ending total, so we have two quarterly reports that are sort of tied up. The second one is being passed through, so we're working on the third quarter. Don Dickerson of OANC and I've been combing through papers and numbers all day. So we basically discovered a couple of abnormalities about how the reporting has been recorded and not recorded. So she's trying to make those adjustments and get those revisions in as soon as possible so we can finalize Q3. Okay. At this point in time, I have not received an invoice from Karen, and I don't think we, no, I have not. Okay. So
I
don't
didn't
have-
see it. But she sent it to you, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. Okay. So anyway, I don't have anything to request any type of approval.
Wait, we have checks for the lawyer.
Oh, you want to go ahead and do those?
Well, that's one where, so how this works, so we got approval for the grants for $1,824. So that's what we're in for $1,500. So that's, remember with the dialogue with Denise?
Those have been paid.
No, these are new.
Oh, wait a minute. We paid them and they have to reimburse us.
No, this is new. This is the one that I submitted to Denise for the money. Yeah.
Okay. So we have 1,008 and what was the other one?
Okay, $1,824 and $1,500.
And 1,500. Okay, so these are new.
But wait a minute, but then we're also gonna ask for check, because I'm gonna submit these to Denise tonight, and then she's gonna send it to the auditor. Remember, she said that in email, maybe not. So it's $144 and 2,928.
Okay. All right. So I will make a motion that ANC 2G approve the expense for legal services in the amount of $2,928.
$144.
And $144.
$1,500.
$1,500 and
And
$1,824.
correct, for
legal expenses.
wait,
for
for
501.
I was for Donahoe, Themac, and Miller.
Mhm.
Seconded.
Okay, accepted, seconded. Okay.
Tony seconds, all in favor? Oh, Alex seconds, I'm sorry, Alex, all in favor, aye. Ms.
Aye.
Watkins? Ms. Watkins, are you with us? Ms. Watkins?
She's on mute. Uh,
Okay,
Mr.
so okay, so we're just gonna go, motion passes 5-0-0. Ms.
501.
Watkinson, 0-1. She didn't respond.
Okay. All right. So that takes care of that. Do we have any Zoom charges? If
No,
it's
because
not,
remember the government pays for that now.
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, so for the last 2 months since we weren't together, I have the monthly financial report for August. We have an opening balance of $6,138.29. No expenses that were paid, and then we received an allotment supposedly for the third quarter for $4,011.43, bringing our sum total in the treasury of $10,149.72.
Wait, I have to.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I want to do my poster.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
So, all right. So I'm asking for, as you know, we are in a full campaign mode for 501 New York Avenue. I'm out there with flyers and talking to people on the street. Oh, can you hear me? What?
I got one more. I got
Oh,
September.
what? I'm sorry.
I did August because we didn't meet. So I got September there. Okay. Okay. Bringing over the ending total in August from $10,149.72. We had 4 expenses. We had Karen Yaley in the amount of $275 for July and August. And then we had some old Uber charges that I had overlooked for Rochelle in the amount of $13.96 and $9.90, bringing those expenses up to $573.86, reducing our current balance down to $9,500.75. $9,575.86. That's our current balance. That's it.
Okay. So I would like to seek support from the commissioners from our money to, y'all see this poster? So as you know, I've been running around the neighborhood with flyers and talking to people like I'm running a real campaign, and I would love to have some posters done. I was gonna do it myself, but I hate to tell you, due to they're vastly different from the last time I did campaign posters, a lot more expensive. I was shocked. And so I'm getting amounts basically up to $2,000 for 200, because it would cover our ANC and the below ANC. Any thoughts? Do you care?
That is quite pricey. I would be happy to try to connect you with some other vendors.
Okay.
Or union printers who I think may be able to get you those for cheaper.
So would the commission be willing
right
to
now.
spend money or what? So what, let me ask you this, let me put it to you this way. How much would the commission be willing to pay? This is a beautiful poster.
Mm-hmm.
Is
I'm
it
not sure
for-
if there's any.
Is
If
it
there's
for-
any.
Sorry.
Huh? Go ahead.
Is it for ANC 2G and 6E as well?
It's for everywhere.
It's for everywhere, all over the city.
Well, just the area, just this area. So
Right,
just-
And how
and
many-
surrounding the convention center.
Oh, yeah. How many is that?
Well, I asked for 200, but that would be how I normally go back to back. And that's through the, but you know, it was, I was shocked, literally. I just was like,
That's a
holy
lot.
crap. I know. So Commissioner McCarty, he seems to be a sign expert about. So, but that's my question though. What would you, as far as the commission, what would be, if they're at all willing to support this?
I would say 1,000.
Number one, I would query OANC to make sure that this is an eligible expense first.
Oh, okay.
And then secondly, I think you need a slogan on here because otherwise.
Oh, no, it says no jail on top. I don't think you can see the whole thing.
No, we can't.
Okay, wait a minute. Maybe,
It
hold on. Why can't?
Right.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Wait, it's my fault. Here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
And there's the website QR code. And then this is what we've learned about a bazillion times, right, Commissioner Barry? To do the write-in.
Yeah.
Because I've already, and actually the government has already seen these signs. I said, what do y'all think about these signs? Would you rip them down? Might write the date in. So
Might not support it.
that's right. So, okay, so $1,500.
So I have done campaign posters before, and I haven't spent $2,000 on 200, and I had 250, and I might have spent less, like $700.
Wow.
You know, so I don't know if that's an old figure or if it was because I did it. I sent off for them. It wasn't a local thing. So I don't, actually it was local and they delivered them to me. I'm sorry. Those were different campaign. But yeah, I can't speak to what this, like what is making the cost.
Well, that's why I said when I asked for it, it was all hovered around $2,000. So I was a bit, who knows, because of inflation or whatever. Maybe they haven't gotten business in a long time, whatever. That seemed to be the going rate.
So Rochelle, are these like corrugated plastic or what are
Though
these?
I've gotten quotes for the heavy cardboard and for that plastic.
And they both were coming out at $10 a piece?
More, some of them more. I just think that people are, it's just how it, I mean, I don't know what the business, but there was nothing inexpensive about it. And so if Commissioner McCarty knows a place, but I kept it local and that's what I found out.
We make a contingent vote based on the OANC approving the expense and set a dollar amount.
Okay. What's the dollar amount?
But you recommended 1,500?
I mean, that's not going, I don't think, too crazy for what it is.
Right.
Anyone else care?
1,500.
I'm fine with 1,500, and
Okay.
I'll offer to help you try to source a more affordable option.
Okay, and I'll send Kent an email because it might be moot anyway. So, but I'll send him an email. And I was just like, as I said, I was more than willing to pony up some dough, but I said, no, not after that.
So contingent up to $1,500 contingent upon the approval from OANC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I move that ANC, do I have to do a motion for this? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The money.
Okay, I move that ANC 2G support the making of the posters for the Central Cell Block at 501 New York Avenue for up to $1,500 contingent on if it's okay via the Office of OANC.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Watkins, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, motion passes. Alrighty, thank you guys.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay. Are we done? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, with the approve the minutes. Right, Tony, you're done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. I move.
Oh. No, I was gonna do it, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Alex.
What was the date of the
July.
July what?
Oh.
Not on here.
Oh, wait.
I can pull up my.
Was it
calendar.
July 12th?
There you go. July the 11th.
Okay.
So I move that ANC2G approve the minutes of the July 11th public meeting with any corrections submitted to the recording secretary.
Okay, I second. I second. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, anything else, commissioners? Okay. All right, so I move that we adjourn this meeting. Our next meeting is going to be October 10th. So I move that we adjourn this meeting for tonight. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Everyone be safe. Thanks for the last 3 people on the
Watkins
call.
feel better.
Thank you.
Huh?
Commissioner Watkins feel better.
Yeah, feel better.
Good night.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.